Hello, welcome to the Southron Bannermen. I am your guest, James Walmsley, and I'm joined today by regular host Ben Davey. Say hi, Ben.
Hello, guys.
And we have a new permanent host, Matt.
Hello.
Say hello, Matt.
Hello, Matt.
So, Joe, do you want to take us through what we're doing today?
Every time I get him with that.
Okay, Matt, why don't you run it down?
Since by Joe you mean Matt. So we're going to be discussing the new House of Thorns big box, and then we're going to be discussing some Worlds predictions. We're going to go rapid fire style because there's a lot of cards, but we'll be doing some in-depth analysis on what we think are a few key cards from this box.
So I've been thinking how we should do this. I think when we say whoever says like the card name, we kind of say, okay, Joker round, and that's the one we're going into. That's what your Joker to talk a bit more than about a minute on.
You what?
So for instance, I go Queen of Thorns, and you
Joker.
go, oh, yeah,
right,
that's
okay.
that's my Joker. That's my Joker. I got this one. Okay.
We need buzzers like QI.
Yeah, we haven't got the budget for that yet.
Okay.
Cool. When we do have the budget, then we'll get buzzers like QI, and we'll have whole series are based on letters. Before that, quick news, and we have a new FAQ with the most important thing. We finally have a restricted list for Melee.
Well, for Melee.
Now, I want to bring
Baby
this
steps.
up. I want to bring this up because, Matt, I know you've played practically no Melee ever.
I played Melee once and it was awful.
There we go. Wham, I know you've played a fair bit of Melee.
Yep.
And I'm kind of in the middle bit here. But I'm going to say I kind of think I can talk about this quite heavily, though, because I don't think I've made a deck without at least half the cards on the restricted list.
Yeah, they're restricted for a reason.
So,
Yeah.
And I think it's good because we might actually see some variety now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the one time I played Melee, I had a really awful experience because all the games were done before I would even get my second challenge phase. I was just not ready for the rush, and I think the reason why I had such an awful experience was because of all these cards on the restricted list, all in the same deck.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a little bit awkward for me to talk about the Melee restricted list because I was one of the people who worked on the unofficial Melee restricted list that was released like a week beforehand.
I did love that.
So, I mean, we're flattered that FSG broadly copied our restricted list, that, great minds think alike, etc. I'm not entirely sure why
they did leave off Annals of Castle Black. They forgot the part where they're supposed to ban that.
I'm disappointed that Annals of Castle Black is still not restricted, because I think being able to have that and Dornishman's Wife in the same deck is going to probably be the deck that wins Melee at Worlds, and probably Starlight too.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's. I think if it's not winning it, you'd expect some of the final table to have that, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone will get to the top table with that combo because that's pretty bonkers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's harder to stop in Melee.
Yeah.
Just because it is.
Basically, as long as someone's beating you, it's a really good card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, just enlighten me, James. In Melee, how does this combo just win the game?
I mean, essentially the same as the combo decks win in Joust, except that in Melee there's a lot more focus on building up your own position, because in Joust, if you hinder your only opponent, then that's benefiting you.
Oh, okay.
As part of the zero-sum game aspect. Whereas in Melee, if you hinder one of your opponents, then you're expending energy to hinder them, they're getting hindered, and the other two people benefit.
Right.
So broadly, you get these constructive, I'm going to plonk down renowned guys and try and do as many power challenges as possible type decks are the ones that do well. But those decks can't really do anything about the combo. And then when you factor in the combo suddenly has access to titles, so they can potentially get more draw or more gold or whatever, or use the supports to deflect the most deadly challenges. I mean, there's not really that much you can do to stop it.
Okay, so you're referring to like a Lannister Rose Wonder Woman style deck?
Yeah, that, or the Hyper Viper, just any of the traditional go to 15 in one turn decks.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's and obviously the fact, one of the downsides of Dornishman's Wife is, has to be, an opponent has to be beating you with respect to return joust. That's good, but obviously in melee, that's a lot easier generally.
Yeah,
I'd say. There's a couple of cards I would also like to see on here. Was it? Was the one I was thinking of? I think you guys had Flea Bottom, didn't you, on the list as well?
Yes.
And I think that kind of, especially in melee, when you can potentially quite easily get to 4 power challenges in one turn.
Yep.
If not more. I think that's probably a card that should be on there.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I think it's a step in the right direction. Obviously, with all these things, they can always add and remove cards later. Possibly a bit. I know they don't care about as melee as much for joust. A bit asked to drop this quite so close to Worlds.
Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, they're dropping a deluxe box full of cards that are going to be impactful in melee even closer to Worlds than they drop the list.
Yeah, true.
So it's part of their general leave things last minute. But interestingly, with this restricted list, because there are still no tournament rules for the melee format in second edition, there is technically nothing that says that you should follow this restricted list. Because in the tournament rules for Joust, it specifically refers to the Joust restricted list as, if there are cards on here, you must abide by it. Because there's no equivalent document for melee,
Awesome.
I'm not sure you'd get away with that at the tournament, I won't lie.
No.
Something to consider.
I think you push out with TO, then they might kind of, give it arsey with you. The other one I'd say is the fact that they've got rid of not the restricted space. Obviously, the only thing from the FAQ I have really taken on board is that stupid combination with Quinton and Jakaris has gone.
Yes, if you had to learn the stupid Quentin and Dracarys interaction, you can unlearn it, basically.
Yeah, that was stupid. Yeah, he dies. He gets strength 0 and dies, but he kills someone who's strength 3 or less. You're like, what? But he's strength 0 to die. But they've cleared it up now, so that's no longer a thing, thank God, because that was just a stupid ruling. Now, they can just change tiers. So it's the event that kills you, not the token. I'll be very happy.
Yeah.
Anti-ine?
Anti-ine.
Yeah, that's a weird one. The when until at. That confuses a lot of people, especially when we were all learning.
Yeah, and the choose, making it a targeting thing. There's all sorts of strange things.
Mm-hmm. There is sometimes I feel that it would be quite cool to go back, like they're doing with L5R actually, and make the the rulebook a living document, so you can start tidy up a couple of these things without having to do these FAQs. But yeah, it's not the end of the world. Once you know it, it's kind of does become easier, obviously. But the important thing from this is, do you reckon this is kind of a testing ground for an actual Joust restricted list?
Quite possibly. I mean, it's tough to say because I've kind of been one of the people more on the side of Joust doesn't need a restricted list. But whereas I did think that Melee needed a restricted list, hence being involved with creating one.
Okay.
So, I don't know.
I agree. I think right this second, the game doesn't need a restricted list. I always have the caveat, I think there's a few cards which could become a problem given another cycle or so. Stuff like, Flea Bottom, the example I'm going to use, because Flea Bottom's a card which I think will be a problem card at some point in the future. There's the more free cost or less characters to get printed with really good come into play effects, the more that card is going to be a problem. And the more ways there are getting cards into the discard pile, for instance, in the Targaryen character in the box we're about to review, the more ways there is to use Flea Bottom. And I think we're going to hit a critical mass at some point with cards like Flea Bottom. I'm not picking on Flea Bottom, I'm just using that as the example because it's the one which
it's a good example.
It's the one I think that will be the first real problem card for the game at some point.
Those cards that aren't just really good, but sort of potentially limit future design space to an extent as well.
Exactly, because if you make a free cost or less character now with a really good effect, or the downside, like for the Hound, his downside, he's free cost but he jumps in and out. Well, Flea Bottom, who cares? And it's even better. You put him out, he ends up in your discard pile somehow. You then jump out Flea Bottom, it's back to your hand. That makes him infinitely better. Same with Second Sons. Second Sons. their downside is completely negated because of the way Flea Bottom and you said when, at, until works.
Yeah, when I say when the downside of a card becomes an upside, there's a problem. Yeah.
Yes.
Also, on that note, I believe that Annals of Castle Black already is a problem. I think that card should put a limit on it.
Yeah, And so Matt and Yumi obviously are both having played Netrunner, and know recently there's been cards which they've not put a limit on, and one of those cards got banned within a month.
Yeah,
because they didn't put a limit on how many times you could activate it effectively, or what's the maximum it could do, and you mill a whole corp deck in one turn.
Yeah,
you need some actions, limits on it. But obviously the fact that Netrunner's got a restricted list, copying Game of Thrones, maybe Game of Thrones can copy Netrunner in the not too distant future. But as more cards come, there's always going to be more combos which might need restricting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and certain cards amplify that more than others. Like Flea Bottom is one of those cards that amplifies things. Annals is one of those cards that amplifies things.
I'd say in some respects, I'm not saying it's not a bad example, but Great Hall amplifies the fact that 6-cost characters are better than 5-cost characters because you get more of a discount for them. So it's cards like that which, and as the card pool gets bigger, it's going to happen. Not everyone's perfect. There will be combinations. Another time I'm actually looking at the meta list, I could see a card like Queen Cersei being somewhat restricted at some point in the future.
Oh, because
just because she's
gaining power outside of challenges, that sort of thing. Okay,
but but that's a discussion for another time because I think we could go down a rabbit hole and spend an hour and a half just talking about cards that could be a problem at some point.
We probably should. This would make a good episode.
I think it should. It's almost like someone suggested it.
It's almost like someone has suggested it.
Yeah. In conclusion on the melee restricted list, Diana Firehead's on spikes. I never want to see you at a melee table again.
So what was that? Was it Nationals with Tagore and Heads on Spikes? Was it hit Bob every time?
I don't remember, I'm afraid.
I remember it became a thing, like Liam said kill Bob, and every game Bob got killed one way or the other, and I'm sure at least 2 of them I think were Heads on Spikes out of his hand.
Oh gosh.
But anyway, this new big box thing.
Yes.
House of Thorns. Just before we go into this, am I right in saying this is the first box which doesn't really build on new themes and just builds on the current themes, or we count the start box in the same way?
I would agree on that. I think the card pool's hit a point where a lot of the themes are already fleshed out, and it's going to take really big bomb cards in order to make a faction receive another theme.
Yeah, I think Tyrell had a lot of themes already in place, and I think giving them another one might have sort of spread them too thin. So I'm kind of glad that Knights hasn't really been relevant for a long time. So giving them a bunch of Knight stuff is good. Mm-hmm. Giving them a few more lady stuff is good. I guess you could argue that Mace is a new theme by himself, but I imagine we'll get to him in more detail in a moment.
The theme of kicking people out of challenges and standing them back up, I think that's something that could use a bit more development.
They've got 2 cards at the moment. It's like if you did if the Greyjoy big box dropped tomorrow, I'd kind of hope that would bulk out Pillage and the Drowned God theme, because that's 2 themes they have but haven't really had enough cards of. And I guess you are right. Tyrell had a lot of themes coming out, even just out of core. Mm-hmm. They had the money. Well, after the first cycle, you had money, you had draw, and you had the strength buff theme, and you had the knights, and you had the ladies. And it's only really recently we've had enough ladies to make all the lady tech worthwhile.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that probably is fair. I'm dreading that Martell box next, though. I think it's going to be horrible. Yeah.
It's like Martell are already nasty now. How are they going to be when they presumably get nasty control versions of Doran and the Red Viper and things like that?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I'm hoping they get a new theme, which is they actually play the game like everyone else does. They put
we've already got a bunch of factions that play the game like everyone else does.
But that
it's like, it's going to be different.
That can be their that can be their sub theme. What's this guy do? He stands there and does challenges. No, seriously, what's he do? No, that's what he does, honestly.
So that reminds me, there is something that Fantasy Flight have not been doing that I kind of was hoping they would do in these big boxes, and that is give alternate versions of some really pivotal cards. For example, actually kind of disappointed that the Night's Watch box didn't have an alternate version of the wall. I mean, talk about a way to like totally make a different Night's Watch deck. Just say, give an alternate wall. Like
the
in
Night's Watch one did have, 4 characters the same? It had a new John, a new Old Bear, a new Amon, and a new Samuel.
I mean, the John the John and Satin, like, they did a pretty good job of starting a different deck, a little more offensive, but I would have loved to see an alternate The Wall. Yeah.
I agree. Having another wall would be nice. Definitely.
Or in this case with House of Thorns, maybe an alternate Highgarden.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think we do get a very good number of different unique characters, like different copies of the same unique characters, but we don't so much with locations.
Harrenhal's the only one, isn't it, that's had 2 copies?
Yeah, and obviously, being 2 different factions, it's kind of a cheap way.
They are non-loyal though, and you do see sometimes. I've seen the Stark one in Lannister before.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I think there's I think with the the three copies of a card by name rule, I think it could be more explored. Like for example, what if there was a neutral treachery?
The treachery should be neutral.
Yeah, it should. Well, what I'm saying is they could at any time just produce another card named treachery. And Lannister has to choose where everyone else has access to the neutral treachery, or an alternate Hand's Judgment. I think there's a lot of potential.
An argument that Valar Dohaeris should have been called Valar Morghulis.
Oh,
so that you could play one or the other.
Oh, yeah, I like that actually.
Yeah, alternate plots, that would also be really nice. I think this is something that they haven't explored yet, and I would love to see that possibly happen in the future. So, Danny, if you are listening,
alternate. Sure he is.
That's actually really good, because basically that's basically like an agenda. You have different agendas, and that changes the way you deck building. By having, say, 2 plots which have got the same name but have fairly different effects, that really does affect your deck building, and gets around having potentially a deck that just runs all the resets and have no character deck that does it that way.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. See, Matt, this is why we're giving you a full-time gig.
Oh, I have my moments.
Cool. Okay. Who wants to kick us off?
James.
Okay. I assume, do we want to sort of trust that the listeners or viewers on YouTube, whatever, and the readers, if they get it transcribed, are we going to trust that they sort of already know what the cards are? So we're not just going to.
I think so. I mean, it's on ThornsDB. It's all there.
I would say if you get the opportunity to go on ThornsDB, I guess we're probably going to talk about some of the abilities anyway. But yeah, well, just to save on time, I think we'll go on the basis of that everyone knows what the card does, because otherwise, just reading the text will take up most of the minute.
Yeah, and if you go cards and then House of Thorns, then you get them in set order. So
that's literally what I've got here. So I've got, I've currently got Mace in front of me, and I've got the button to press Brienne next to him. So cool.
Okay, so first up we've got Mace Tyrell. He is this box's big 7-cost character with a passive power gain ability, just like Caitlyn was in the start box, just like Cersei was in the Lanny box.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't think of it that way as like a counterpart to those two. Yeah.
He's got one of the most interesting abilities in the game, in my opinion, being able to phase out a character.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one. His at first blush, his raw stats are kind of crap. I mean, 7 for 5 with not a military icon, but so it's going to be all about leveraging those abilities of his.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a card I want to play my first Joker on. I'm going to get it right out there.
Okay.
Because, I know there's a tendency in communities to not give away your tech, but as things stand, I think there's an above-average chance that I'm going to be taking a Mace Tyrell deck to Starlek.
Okay.
You heard it here first. Pack those milks of the poppy, because James is coming for you.
I'm not necessarily advising other people to do that, simply because I think it's a deck. It's very fun to play, but it's difficult to win with unless you get your sequencing on all the events and stuff that you've got to play with him perfectly.
He seems to be a
I'm
bit
expecting to be hungover, so I'm not anticipating doing very well.
the hangover being the important part there. To me, I imagine if I went to a Jank tournament, I think he'd be one of the characters to look at, because I think if you get the right combo out, especially with those House Flora Knights and a few other abilities, he's going to be pretty crazy. But the games where it doesn't all line up perfectly, I'm not 100% convinced he's that great. Especially now, I was just going to start deck now, because my current start deck I probably would have would have 2 barring the gates in anyway.
Yeah, well, I mean, his action gets round barring the gates.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, because his effect is removing the character from play, and then they enter play through the expiration of the effect. And barring it prevents effects from
fine. I'm running through the Milks of the Poppy as well, so that's the other reason I want to.
Milk works. I can guarantee that.
What happened? Okay, interesting thing. What happens here? So, I'm sure there's an easy answer to this. You start your marshalling phase. You take a character. You use his action, and then I milk him. Is that character permanently kind of in the ether?
No. He's created a lasting effect, so the character just.
The effect kind of exists on its own. Yeah.
I think that's the case. I just quite like the idea of this House Flora Knight just sitting at the side of the table, being like, "Oh, for God's sake, who gave him drugs again?"
Yeah, House Flora Knight is one of the most fun cards to trigger Mace on.
Oh, here's another rules question: when the the character leaves play, what happens to attachments?
They fall off. If they're terminal, they get discarded. Non-terminal, back to hand. Same as if they were played through any other mean. Yeah, again, power goes away.
Okay. Do they re-enter standing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I say he's got lots of abilities. He's quite good. Obviously, he can be like even he just uses him as like a second confiscation for a turn. So you confiscate the milk off him, let's say, and then you jump a character out of play to get rid of Craven or over off that character, bring them back in, which is always good because I'm always keen on cards which are effective against negative attachments. Even though I've just said I'm running a deck with 3 negative attachments in it. He
has to take your first milk. It's kind of like Crescent and Baratheon in that way. Yes. In that if you milk someone else, then Crescent just takes it.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's one last rules question. Do effects that trigger on, say, the character entering play, do they trigger?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, well, hold on a sec. Doesn't that contradict what's going on with barring the gates?
No, because they're still entering play. It's just not his effect that's causing them to enter play. It's the expiration of the effect.
Huh. Okay.
So the character still transitions from being out of play to being back in play. It's just not deemed to be an effect that does that. Even though it's only positive effect. Because
the effect is not doing that, so it gets around barring the gates. Okay.
In the FAQ at the bottom, it even says if you've done the Iron Bank will have its due. So, for instance, if we have 2 House Flora Knights out, you Iron Bank 1, and then use his ability in the other one, that still doesn't stop it from entering play. So.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, he's an interesting character. I put him into the sex panther category. 6 spin of the time, he'll work every time.
I think it's basically you've got to think about him in terms of his action, and then his reaction is just a bonus. If you want to go all in on him, then yes, you're going to be spamming his reaction, and you're going to be using some of the other cards from this box, like Hightower in particular. But really, for me, the point of him is getting to get additional triggers from your House Flora Knight, from your your thingy, Elena's Informant.
Oh, okay.
That sort of thing.
Obviously, also triggers with the Elena's the Old Town Informant.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
there's
multiple cards from this box that go well with him as well, like the Blue Bard and Emissary of Hightower. But we'll get to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's I think he's good. I don't think he's as obviously good as Cersei was and Cat was.
Oh yeah, they're pretty straightforward.
Yeah, they're pretty straightforward and they're just good cards. Yeah. But he's nice. The other thing to say point is loyal, but obviously that doesn't synergize very well with him.
Yeah.
Fealty doesn't. I mean, anyway, doesn't synergize very well. But he's running Fealty these days. Baratheon and
Targaryen.
Yeah, that's about it. So
nice.
Cool.
Thomas Elbeck.
So we should have said, are we rating these guys? cards?
Eh.
On the fly?
Like, people can tell what we think about him from the words we use, can't we? They're not going to care whether we say. All that said, that roughly translates to arbitrary number out of arbitrary number.
Yeah, how can you distill greatness like Mace Tyrell? All that genius, all that collective creative energy that's going to go into building decks around him. How can you distill that down into a single number? It's not possible.
He is very much so someone you're building the deck around. You know, you're not just whacking him into your current Tyrell deck and imagining it'd be amazing.
If you're already doing the thing with Old Town Informer and Alez Informants and that sort of thing, I can see putting in one copy of him. Yeah. Like, because even if a lot of the time he's only going to get you like a power around or whatever, you've often got space at that upper end in Tyrell. And like he's another Lord, so you can bring him into play through Marjorie, or you can even just play him and then kill him. Although there are better choices for that in this game.
It's been 7 costs to kill him. I said, what?
What?
Well, in all fairness, Randall is that good. I would kill a 7-cost character to get Randall out.
Take a hit for Randall.
Yeah. Gotta love Randall. Cool. So good card, generally speaking. So, Brienne of Tarth.
Oof. Who designed this thing? This is so wonky.
Yeah. So, Brienne of Tarth. So the 6-cost Brienne with... I'm going to go for the ability for this one because I think it will make a difference to us having a little chat.
Just because it's so weird.
Yeah, because it's so weird. So she's got all the stuff you'd expect. Reaction, after you win a challenge in which Brienne of Tarth is participating, if her strength is 6 or higher, gain a power. 7 or higher, choose any character.
10 or higher.
Oh, so 10 or higher.
10 or higher.
10, it gets plus...
If it was 7 or higher, that would be good.
That would be good. It gets plus 3 strength until the end of the phase. So that's not bad. Then if it's 15 or higher, stand her and draw a card. So... really, for me, I've not had a chance to use it yet. I'm only really looking at the first 2 abilities as something I could reliably do.
Okay.
Because I think it's not unfeasible getting her to 10 fairly easy. I mean, one Lord Renly's Ride could do that.
True. Yeah, add on like Growing Strong and Hornhill and the new plot. Yeah, I could see getting to 10. But 15 is just overkill. Like that's like Robert Baratheon territory.
The thing is, I think once you're going to 15, you kind of I think you're competing with Randall for the strength buffs, and Randall's better, isn't he?
Yeah. I mean, if you get her to 15, she's better than Randall because she's gaining power and she's giving you a trigger for your Randall as well, and she's drawing a card. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, she's not worth it unless you get her to 15. And right now, as the card pool stands, you can't consistently get to 15.
No, she's
maybe in the future. We'll have cards that let you, but right now, she's binder fodder. There's no other.
If she was a lord, I think you could do it because then you could put the crown on her as well.
Yeah, but I'm very tempted to take the Brienne Voltron for melee and just go Banner Wolf and use the Sansa's maids to try and get her to always be 15. But it depends whether I want to do remotely well with melee or not.
You know the other one you could do. 3 copies of Knighted, 3 copies of Jousting Lance. She's strength 11 at that point.
3 copies of the Pavilion from this pack.
We're almost there, guys.
One more strength, and then that's the problem. I'm going to see my opponent's going to spend all this effort. Right, she's on 15. I'm going to cool nightmares. What?
Or they just put down Gaston Grey or whatever. Yeah.
So I'm not going to. I was going to say I'm not going to say she's rubbish because I have a horrible feeling in a couple of cycles this is going to be like not quite Brandon's gift levels, but all of a sudden she's going to be really good. But
there'll be a point where she breaks, but right now she's rubbish.
You're spending far too much effort to get to 15.
Yeah, just play Randall Tarley instead.
Yeah, that's the thing. All that effort to get her to 15 is like 6 Randall triggers over 3 turns, which you're having to.
And she doesn't even have a keyword. She has no keywords, and she's more expensive than 5-cost Brienne of Tarth, who has a keyword.
Yeah, and
I mean, to be fair, she kind of all you need to do is boost her by 1, and she basically has renown.
True.
But she has better renown because you get it earlier in the.
Yeah, but worse because Catelyn Stark blocks it.
This is true, but it means that if it's going to be the winning power, you can get it before Gaston Grey triggers.
Yeah. maybe.
The other one I say is she is also competing with the other Brienne, who I think is easier to trigger and probably does a bit more at the moment for the kind of decks.
5 for 5 renowned and another ability. She's good.
Yeah, and doesn't kneel as long as you have a king, and you're probably going to have a king on the board at some point.
Yeah. I mean, she's flashy and she's fun, but for a quick fire review, we're spending a lot of time on what might be the worst card in the box.
That is true. Right. Matt, next card?
So I'll be introducing Sir Garland Tyrell. He actually has a really neat ability for the Knight deck. Being able to raise your claim, always nice. I particularly like how you can use it after your opponent has declared blockers. So you don't have to commit until you know that raising your claim is going to be a good thing.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Like Wolves of the North. It's Wolves of the North, but by just discarding any card.
Yeah. So I think this guy's really good if you're going to go down the if you're planning to have Knights attack alone. I think this guy's great. If you're not going Knights, I don't like that he doesn't have a keyword. Yeah.
Now this is my quick thing for him. I've made a few Knight decks in the last few days. I've actually been going for the other version of him, the 4-cost, to keep because I'm keeping my cost curve down and trying to win quick. And raising claims are well and good, but if you're just trying to win challenges to get passive power gain through abilities like Lazy Santa's Rose, the Honey Wine, and other things like that, you don't necessarily care about claim as much. Only really on the power challenge.
Yeah.
If you're going like Nightly Rush, okay.
Yeah.
If you're triggering this on the power challenge, you might as well have the cheaper one because he has renown, so you're getting extra power from that anyway. So for me, the value in him comes from triggering him on military or intrigue. And Tyrell aren't really a faction that particularly likes to push those challenges, like at least not in terms of a high claim aggro kind of style.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where I think he's interesting is that he's non-loyal.
Yes.
So I think there's also, to be fair, out of Tyrell, there is a deck that's just going to be trying to do, that's running the Jousting Pavilion from later in the box and is trying to win each challenge with a Knight character attacking alone. And he is good if you are trying to do that. But I think most Knights decks aren't necessarily trying to actually win with just one Knight in each challenge. At least, I could be wrong with that.
I could see him in a Lannister deck with Jaime and a Lance.
Yes.
And just
this is where I'm expecting him to be good, is in a Lannister deck with Jaime.
Sure.
Or the Mountain.
Yeah, or the Mountain, and just doing 2 claim or even 3 claim military challenges.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that's where he's at. I think in Tyrell, meh, but Banner probably not a bad option.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
All right.
Anything else?
Queen of Thorns.
Yeah.
So she's another one with a fancy ability. Her tutor, discard an event to tutor any event in your deck, which I think is cool. I'm not sure. I think she's one of those cards that's deceptively mediocre in that you picture her in terms of, well, I kneel her and then I discard this event and then I can get my Superior Claim or I can get my All Men of Fools or, whatever, insert event here, basically. The problem I think people are going to run into with her more than they think at first is the part where you have to have an event in your hand in the first place.
Yeah.
Right.
It's obviously, a lot of the time you will, but also a reasonable amount of the time you won't. And at that point, she's basically a blank 3-strength Bicon with Insight, which is still fine. She's not bad, but I think she's less amazing than she looks at first.
I think if she were 4-strength, she'd be pretty awesome. And just include her. But at 3-strength, you have to want it.
I think the 2 things from this is if Dark Wings, Dark Words gets reprinted, then she becomes crazy good value. I think she also has the advantage that the other Queen of Thorns isn't that popular, so she's not really fighting for, it's not like when Fat Cat came out and you're going, oh, well, other cat's really good. You're going, you're kind of replacing a cat, maybe a one of, just because the insight's kind of useful. If you got Renly out, she comes kind of super draw.
Yes.
But otherwise, I know what you mean, because I'm thinking most of my Tyrell decks, I'm running about 8 events at most.
Yeah, so it's like maybe you'll have one.
Yeah,
but
Well, I'm only running 3 different types of events, so I'm going to
Okay.
discard one to get the same one. No, I don't know. It just doesn't
Yes,
seem
like,
as worthwhile.
Like, for example, the crossing that I won Norwich Regional with, I had 3 Growing Strong, 3 Lord Renly's Ride, and 2 Nightmares. And it's like, Nightmares is different, but am I going to be discarding a Lord Renly's Ride for a Growing Strong, or a Growing Strong for a Lord Renly's Ride? Most of the time, they're doing the same thing.
Maybe if you're playing Annals of Castle Black, or you have something going with Emissary of the High Tower, but then that's like I was saying, if you have to want it, because then you're devoting other slots to really leveraging deck events in your discard pile.
And that also, to be fair, I'm a player who likes consistency from my event slots, and I think she favours that more toolboxy, I'm going to run 1 or 2 of several events style of play.
That's what I say. First, I should have said, if anyone doesn't know, Darkwing's Dark Worlds, first edition agenda, obviously, and you could run one of you could only run one of every event, wasn't it?
Yeah, you could only run one of any event, but you draw a card whenever you play an event.
So if you have 10 events in your deck and they're all very toolboxy, and you go, oh, okay, you know what would be really good right in the middle, you know, you're going to this challenge, I'll discard this, put to the sword, so I'm not going to get it through, and I'll go and get that support of the people. That would be quite useful.
Yes.
And then once I play that support of people, I draw a card. I think if that comes back, I think you might see a deck built around her. But until then, no, she's meh. The lady trait's probably the best thing on her.
She's currently a 1-of for decks with vaguely toolboxy event packages, or a 3-of if you really want to build around her and have fun. But I think that will be more fun than good. And then in the future, she'll be bonkers.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Especially if FFG continues to print cards that leverage events in your discard pile.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll count that as one of my jokers, just to move things along here.
This one won't take long, I don't think. So we've got High Garden, Honor Guard, which is an army with, for some reason, intrigue, which I never quite get with armies. And out with it's an ambush 6 card, which you reduce the ambush by 1 for every reach location you have. See, I'm kind of in 2 minds about this card, because I love the City Watch. The City Watch is, for me, one of my favourite cards in the game, and I think one of the best cards in Baratheon. This has a similar ability. Yeah. But it's lacking the icon you probably want, maybe, out the ambush. I don't know, maybe a range.
I don't know about that. I mean, I don't know about that, because just the fact... there aren't a whole lot of characters that are 5 strength with intrigue icons. I'm noticing that intrigue is one of those where it's like, bam, I'm going to slam down a 5 strength there. I'm going to block your Tyrion. Yeah.
I think the military is less good on a 5 strength, but the intrigue is better on a 5 strength.
Yeah.
I think the biggest problem the Honor Guard have at the moment is that there are quite a few reach locations, but not that many that you necessarily want in the type of deck that the Honor Guard goes in. Like, the Jousting Pavilion is the only one in this box.
Well, keep in mind, Rose Garden is a reach location.
Yes, so, but I mean, the only ones are what? Rose Garden, Manda, High Garden, Caswell's Keep.
Renly's Pavilion? I know there's another one. That's that you just don't think about. Yeah.
Now obviously, potentially ambushing these guys in for nothing is pretty good.
Yeah, I'm definitely up with them if it's ambush 0.
Yeah, but getting it down to like 4 or 3 is pretty reasonable.
I could see these as a 1 or 2 of maybe in a range deck, just for that surprise. You know, I get to trigger range on defense. Maybe you didn't think I could.
Yeah, I think at the moment the range decks are all built around, Tinder March and all of the big lords and kings. I think there'll be a class of range decks that emerges that uses the Marjorie from this box or the core Marge and doesn't try and push through the big renown bodies and goes a bit lower curve. And I think in that deck, this will have a place.
Quickly, the Honeywine and Bitterbridge are also the reach.
Bitterbridge, that's right.
And Hornhill, you didn't say that one.
Oh, yeah, Hornhill.
Okay, fair enough. It's free all the time.
Yeah, it's totally workable.
The one I was thinking of, if it had the red wine thing on it.
Yeah. Well, so you get the vineyard and the arbor and the
Straits.
red wine straits.
Yeah. I would say ambush is always good, and I say if you can get it out for fairly cheap, because a lot of the cards you do put some reach cards in with just by building the deck in general.
Maybe. The big problem it's got is competition like Tyrell isn't lacking for good characters that cost 5 or more.
No.
So you need to build a deck that isn't running all of those other cards to have room for it.
This is true. That being said, a lot of their 5-cost guys are military power.
Yeah,
this is true. So
yeah,
so it gives you another option in the intrigue for a 5, intrigue. So
and I guess the example I used at the beginning of it with the City Watch, just to round it off, that they're in a faction that really needs the upper end deck filled out a lot because they only really have 4 characters above 4 costs that are worth considering.
Yeah.
So, right, Matt, on to Marge.
Marjorie Tyrell. I think she's the best Baratheon card in this box. No, thanks to James and Joe, I've been trying a Baratheon Rose deck using Marjorie, and it's working really well so far. So I'm going to cast this in as one of my jokers because I think this is a pretty interesting card. Just the fact that you can, kneel your opponent's characters, like Melisandre does pretty consistently. That's great. I like how you can. There's no the defending character doesn't need to have an intriguer or power icon. You can pull in a character of any icon. I think this card's really nice, especially if you're going first. I think this is great. You just you pull out you pull away their nasty blockers, or you pull away the characters that you don't want hitting you back. I mean, it's really nice to be like King Balon. I'll pull you into this challenge, and nope, you're not going to hit me twice. When you go.
Theon's a really good one for that as well, because not only can he get an unopposed on attack at you, but he's also rubbish on defense.
Yes, yeah. And even if you win the challenge with him, he gets no benefit. That's a lot of these characters only get benefit with attacking. For instance, pulling Jaime into a power challenge.
Yeah.
Or an intrigue, so he can't get the renowned because it's not military. But, stuff like that would be quite useful. Yeah, no, she's great, and Marge is, I think, the template for characters in some respects, because now we've got 3 Marjorie Tyrells. All of them are completely different, and all of them have a deck that they're still really good in.
Yeah,
you're not basically. It's not like Aemon in Night's Watch. Where you're going, I could take the other one, but Core Aemon's just bonkers.
Yeah.
So this Marjorie, in my opinion, this is going to be my controversial opinion, I think, for the box.
Okay.
I think she is better than both of the other Marjories.
I can see that, and I would say, although I've just literally just said they're all good, I do think she probably is the better one of the 3. I still don't, but that doesn't mean I don't think you automatically take her over the other 2.
No, I think she's the default option.
Yeah.
And you have to have a reason to choose one of the other 2, and there are definitely reasons for both of them. Mm-hmm. But I think she is, if in doubt, she's the one to take. She's at a very good cost slot.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's not in dual range or in first snow range.
Mm-hmm.
She had it's always good to be able to trigger that kneel effect. Okay, that's an exaggeration. It's almost always good to trigger that kneel effect.
Yeah. No, I like her a lot. I think that with core Marjorie, Tyrell has received a lot of other ways to boost your character's strength, so that core Marjorie isn't essential anymore. Which makes perfect space for this one. She's great.
And there are lots of decks that can take advantage of being able to pull things in. I mean, you were talking about using her with Baratheon. There's also using her with Targaryen to force characters into a challenge to drag them.
She's not loyal.
In Greyjoy, you can force characters in and then use the raiding longship so that their strength doesn't count.
Yeah.
You could also put her into a power challenge with Core Balon, and then they don't count anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or put her into a challenge with Theon or whoever, and then stand and remove her.
The other one
starting to get a bit janky there.
The other one, just reading the FAQ bit on this, is she can also kneel as a character who wouldn't normally kneel. So, for instance, we just talked about current Brienne. She doesn't kneel to defend.
Yeah.
She does kneel with this.
Yeah, because this is kneel it, and then just as a side effect, that character is participating in the challenge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's good ways of getting around characters like that.
This is why she's so much better than Dornish Paramore, which on the face of it is a very similar ability, except that it's worse in multiple ways.
Yeah. For a start, you have to have the right. Have to have the right icon, which is one of the big ones with that. Which a lot of people played that wrong initially, didn't they?
Yeah.
Because it has to be a viable defender or whatever. Yeah. So I like this card a lot. Just how just think of your experiences way back in the day with Core Melisandre and how annoying it was to get your characters knelt. Well, here it is out of Tyrell. Just it's done a little differently. It's better if you go first, and you might have to waste a challenge in order to kneel someone's character, but the consistency is totally worth it.
I like your Baratheon Rose idea.
I'm having fun with it so far. Thanks, James and Joe.
Just for put her into the challenge, you said, then play Scene in Flames to kneel someone else out after they defend. and then you've got Bob to go in with Intimidate. That just seems pretty good.
Oh yeah, I'm having a great time with it so far. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so the best one. Would you say she's the best card in the box then, Wamma?
No.
Okay.
I think she's in my top 5 cards in the box.
Okay.
But there's another one I've got my eye on a little bit later.
Fair enough. Okay. Anything else to add before we get to the Knight of Flowers?
Let's move on.
I think this is you, Wamma?
Sure. Okay. Knight of Flowers. He's just a slightly cheaper version of the other one. He doesn't have the one defender only text, but he can get stronger. He's got a good threat of activation. I think people are probably going to underrate that reaction. You only need to trigger it once to have him be the same strength as the other Knight of Flowers.
Yeah.
And you only have to potentially maybe be able to trigger it once for the opponent to have to assume that he'll be the same strength as the other Knight of Flowers.
The other one, I've already kind of had a little play around in my head. So initially I'd agree. I looked at him and went, meh. And then I thought about him again and went, well, a couple of things here. Firstly, you've got the lance anyway. So if you're going for the Knight deck, you're probably running that lance. So it doesn't seem then wasted on him like it would on the other Knight of Flowers, potentially.
Okay.
Or gives you at least another option for that one. It makes Growing Strong now affect 4 characters.
Yeah, or affect one of those 3 twice.
Yes, or affect one of them twice. And the other one I've been messing around with the idea of nightmaresing the defender to give and then getting +2 strength out just as a bonus.
Yeah, there are so many events like Nightmares or Growing Strong or like the Iron Bank will have its due or whatever that you just sort of incidentally play in a challenge phase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's strength 4. I mean, he's cost 4, which it frees up that 5 cost slot.
It's just it's such a trivial thing, but the difference between 4 and 5, it matters.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh no, it does. It definitely does. Yeah. He's a card I'm gonna play with, and I'm gonna probably be swapping him and the core Knight of Flowers out for a bit just to see which one I prefer. But I'm starting to think he might be better.
I suspect it's a case of that the core one is more efficient, but that the Knight of Flowers doesn't stretch your curve up as high.
Okay.
Would you also say this one potentially has a higher ceiling but a lower floor, if you get what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it depends on how many events you're playing. If you're playing like about 8, like we said Tyrell typically does, then I think they're probably about equal. If you're playing fewer, then the other one's better. If you're playing more, then this one's better.
Cool.
Yeah. I actually have this guy in my Baratheon Rose that I've been working on, but that deck has about 12 events.
Yeah.
And it's so nice to just fire off.
Mid-challenge.
Exactly. It's so nice to fire off a Scene in Flames and, make him get stronger. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So
I think in the end with this guy, sorry to cut you off there, but I think if you are going for the Knight deck where you really want to have Knights attacking alone, I'd say go with the core one because you have that ability. You don't even have to put a lance on him. He's already got one.
Fair.
But if you're playing like 10 or more events, I think this Knight of Flowers is great. I also think that he is very similar in cost to the chapter pack Garland Tyrell. But if for some reason you're playing 6 gold Garland Tyrell, then Knight of Flowers can roll in to take that cost slot. See, these are the decisions you have to make.
Yeah. Of course, if you're playing 6 cost Garland Tyrell, then you probably want to be playing the core Knight of Flowers.
Yeah.
This is also true. Yeah, this is also true. Also note that Knight of Flowers has great synergy with a certain card that is coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So we got was it Willis Tyrell?
Yeah.
Yeah, got it right. Yes. So he confused me a little bit here. So just going to so he's like a really bad Maester Lewin.
Yeah.
Which I don't quite understand why they've done this. So you have to kneel him because it's an action. It's not even a reaction to him kneeling. You have to kneel him. And if you've got Marge out, you stand her. That's pretty good with the new one. Well, in fact, all 3 of them that's pretty good with.
Yeah.
Knight of Flowers gains insight and Garland gains renowned. Now, the issue is here, if you're running not this box Garland, he already has Renowned.
This is true.
So that seems like a wasted ability. Knights of Flowers Insight's pretty cool. Stand Marge. There are other stand effects you could do, but it's not bad. But it's the fact you have to kneel him to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, also with this Garland, it has to be this Garland for him to get Renown.
Yeah.
I can't imagine a deck where you're wanting to play this Willis and that Garland together.
Yeah.
Like, what does that deck look like?
Yeah.
The only play I've really thought about with him, which made vague sense, was you're running Tinder Marge.
Yeah.
And
he's a lord.
Yeah, exactly. You send her in for a big intrigue. You stand her with him, and then you wildfire him mid challenge.
Yeah,
to get
but I think that's the
out.
only deck he goes in.
Yeah.
It's because he's a relatively cheap lord, and he can at that point. He's not like the other Marjorie's obviously a great to stand as well, but being able to stand Renown is always good as an accelerant.
Yeah,
and Insight's always nice.
But the other issue with that one being that one probably isn't running that deck probably isn't running the new Garland because that's a Reigns deck probably isn't going too heavy on the night theme.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think the Garland thing you might as well completely ignore the amount of times that's going to be relevant.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just. He's a 4-cost lord that can stand Marjorie and then trigger her, and occasionally you give Knight of Flowers Insight, and that's nice, I guess.
I guess actually you could use this on the 4-cost Garland and it stops him from being nightmares to get rid of the Renowned.
Yeah,
which rarely happens because they're gonna nightmares Randall like 10 out of 10.
No. It makes Garland immune to Maester of Starfall.
No.
These things happen. So I think this guy, I think he's very similar to Paxter Redwine. He's similar in cost. I mean, he's got another icon over Paxter. So I think this is just something, you consider. Do you want the gold or do you want, a power icon and some, standing Marjorie?
I think
he's
that's not
curve,
a hard decision.
Curve filler for Tinder Margin, nothing else.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. He's a lord.
I think I'm running Paxter Redwine over him 99 times out of 100. It was a toss-up between the two. His ability just works by being there. You don't have to do anything and take him out. I just don't get why it's a kneel effect. That's the bit that's...
Probably because they needed a way to, I want to stand Marjorie right now. They had to.
Yeah, I guess.
In order to do that.
Couldn't it be
He's got the same icons as Marjorie, so you could, if it was a reaction to him kneeling, you just include Willis in the same challenge.
That'd be kind of cool.
We already have a knight that does that. We on the power challenge.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's bad. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Right. So we've got this is probably one of the most interesting cards, Matt.
Yeah, Gartha Gross. I've actually thought about this guy, and I'm coming from the Tyrell Reigns of Casimir perspective, which I've been playing a lot lately. Oh yeah, totally. Put this guy in. He's a lord.
Yeah. He's like Willis in that his main role is going to be to die for Marjorie, except that he's cheaper and is more useful.
Yes, his abilities are actually going to be triggered a few times.
Yeah, I'm looking at this guy, and I think in order to make him decent, you really got to have a lady. So I think if you're having a deck that's just jam-packed full of lords and ladies, you play this guy. If you're not jam-packed full of lords and ladies, don't play this guy.
Isn't that like 95% of all Tyrell decks are jam-packed?
I don't know about that. Do you know how many lords and ladies there are now? Like you have to you have to pick between lords, ladies, and knights now. There are so many.
Because the one thing I want to say with this, just for pure jank levels, I want to do a Tyrell Lion deck with him and what's his face, the 2-cost Lannister one, which gets the same strength as another lord.
Oh, Lancel.
Him and Lancel. With the Mountain and Marge out, and have these two ridiculously cheap bad characters just being massively buffed by the two characters around them.
This is unfortunately Tyrell Lords only.
Oh, is it Tyrell? Oh, dang. Oh, that's fine. We'll get another cheap lord that can die.
Willis.
Yeah, there we go. But I just like the idea of having these two characters, which I love the fact they get boosted by just kind of doing what you do. When I first saw him, I thought he was rubbish. I'm not saying he's a good card, but he's solid. He should trigger, and at worst case, he's a 3-cost Tinder Marge trigger if you're going down that route.
Yeah, he's a bad top deck, but when you've got a reasonable board, he's very efficient, and he's a cheap lord.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you know,
Plus extra renown, always nice to close out the game.
extra renown, the +2 strength, and he'll be a Tricon. That's not awful.
Yeah.
Not awful. Yeah.
The only thing I keep getting with this is that there's the Joshua, what's it, Karos, who did the art. He's done quite a lot of art in this box, and I keep seeing it's Joshua Chambers in my head.
Josh Chambers doesn't have the talent to do anything like that.
Oh, okay.
Fair enough, but you know, it just keeps seeing. I'm like, is that what really? Oh no, it's definitely not Josh Chambers. It's fine. So, the Blue Bard. Wamma.
Yeah. Who is it? Me to do it?
Yeah, I think so.
He fetches songs. He does.
Is there enough songs to actually make him worthwhile yet?
In combo decks, there are.
Yeah, he's a combo deck card.
Yeah, that's why he's like my least favorite card in this box, because what does he do? He makes combo decks better.
You don't like him because you think that a deck that runs him runs Annals of Castle Black.
Yes. Yes, it does. It's really Annals I don't like.
He doesn't take that much, because it's only when he leaves play. I mean, it's not like there's a card in the deck which allows a card in the pack which makes cards leave play really easily.
Yeah, if there were a card that could make him leave play, like, you know, more than once a game, you know, then that'd be a lot of tutoring for songs.
Yeah.
And also, even without Mace, he's still in the flea bottom range.
Yeah.
So
But I think Tyrell needs, if for him to be really good, Tyrell needs another song that is just a generally powerful effect, like Renly's Ride is. Because you're not going to put Baron the Maiden Fair in your deck just to get extra efficiency out of him. You're not going to put Rose of Gold in your deck just to get extra efficiency out of him.
Dornishman's Wife as well, but again, that's probably going towards...
Yeah. You might well include all of those cards in a combo deck, and in that case, you're definitely running him. But
then you have like Highgarden Minstrel as well for more songs, and it's like, here comes the combo.
This is the point we need to get at, though, is that we are nearing being able to run a big band deck. Where you
Big band.
And you run Highgarden Minstrel. Maybe you run Garth the Gross, and, you know, they can be the Spoony Bards.
So, Emissary of the High Tower.
Emissary of the High Tower. Basically, it's Annuals of Castle Black.
Yeah, but this one has a limit on it.
Yeah,
You only get one of that. You only get one.
So obviously it's until the end of the phase, so if you marshal her, then that's less useful. But she's in flea bottom range, going back to what we talked about, the restricted stuff earlier. Obviously, again, we've got Mace who can do stuff with her. You've got the Queen of Thorns who can bring her into play fairly easily. And then basically it's it's the Annals of Castle Black on a stick.
Well, keep in mind, it's one event. So in my opinion, this is fine, because... Sweet. Okay, you get an extra. You get to have an extra nightmares out of your discard pile, or you know, it could be good events like Dracarys. But I think this is like perfect for perfect cost for and perfectly limited for like a recursion.
So
she's one of my favorite cards in the box, both from a power level standpoint and a cool effect standpoint. Like she does a thing, it's well balanced, it's well costed, it's cool. I want to build decks that run her.
Yeah, I think that's great. The fact that she's ambush 4 means that, you know, you gotta have like 5 gold if you want to put her out there and get like a 1-cost event. That's a lot. You know, if you have 5 gold, you deserve to recycle that nightmares.
Or you play her in marshalling and then get a trigger, and then you trigger Mace Tyrell to bring her into the free.
This is true, but now you're building to do that.
And then
yes, I am building to do that.
And then you find a way of discarding her when she comes back into play to then bring her back out with flea bottom.
Yeah. Yeah, she's one of my favourite cards from the entire box, and I think she's going to be a bit of a sleeper. Like, I was doing the Card Game DB review for Tyrell, and we gave her a 5, me and the Quill and Tankards, and everyone else gave her a 3.
Right.
Okay. No, I think she's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in love.
It's good. I'd say the only problem, we are hitting a bit of a mass of these free cost Tyrell characters which have some sort of ambush ability. That obviously is some you start making some tough decisions. She probably is the best of the. I don't know actually.
She's different. Like
Yeah,
the
Informant's
Informant
very good.
don't necessarily go in the same deck,
Yeah.
but
Right. Yeah.
having options is always good.
Right. Now on to my first Joker. The
Man,
the Green
here we
Apple
go.
Knight, or as I'm calling him, the Hedge Knight on steroids, because he is just bonkers. I think he's a bit good, and I can see lots of games being won with this card and the Tourney of the King. Tourney of the King? Yeah.
Renown.
Yeah, so 3 costs, 1 strength, military and intrigue. Sounds crap. For every other knight, he gets +1 strength. So obviously this is going in the knight's deck. I should put that caveat in. If you control 2 or more knights, he doesn't kneel, as when declared as an attacker. So
if you're doing like a full-on knight's deck, this guy gets pretty good. Yeah.
For me, he is the biggest reason why the jousting theme for the knights isn't that great, because
I agree.
He's a card you want to play in that swarm style deck, where you're getting 3 or 4 different knights on the board, preferably a couple of copies of him, and you're spamming and doing as many challenges as you can. Maybe you're like bouncing in informants or whatever.
So I'm talking to my friend Dave about him. He's the only guy I really play with locally now, and he initially wasn't too keen. And I said, do you like crow killers? He went, yeah. Well, these are basically crow killers. They're easier to trigger. Because crow killers, you're reliant on your opponent's reserve. Reserve. Now, you can make a deck with a low reserve, but that's also got downsides to doing that.
You're also building your deck to make it happen.
Yeah, exactly. To make that way. Where this card, you just literally putting knights in your deck. I mean, the only problem is he doesn't combo well with the 2-cost knight in the box, because obviously he has to be attacking alone. But then he kind of also does combo with him, because you're doing crossing. Well, that knight does the 3rd challenge, the power challenge. And then these 2 do the military and intrigue and just get ridiculous amount of strength. And then I say you finish this off with the one where all knights get renowned, and you just do a big military and a big intrigue, and then maybe a big power, and you probably should close the game out from there.
Yeah, I like this guy. I think in your typical Tyrell deck, I admit I like Knight of the Reach better. Same cost, same icons. But because like on setup, you spend 3, you get a 3 strength guy. I think in a knight deck, this guy's pretty good.
It depends what you're doing. So the Knight of the Reach is that whole you're winning alone, whereas this is just I'm a knight, he's a knight, together we're better. So you probably have him looking more with Knights of Summer.
If you have hedge knights in your deck, then this guy goes in.
Arbor Knights and Arbor Knights.
Yeah.
I think the Hedge Knight test is a very good sort of litmus test. Oh, you're running Hedge Knights? Yeah, then you definitely want to run Green Apple Knight. If you're not running Hedge Knights, maybe you don't have enough knights to justify this guy.
And it's one of where I initially started off as, I think a lot of people going to, I had the 3 Jousting Pavilions and the 3 Lancers. Not Jousting Pavilions. Is Jousting? Yeah, it's Jousting Pavilions. Yeah, it is. And I'm sort of going away from that now. I'm just actually going, no, I'm just going to have really strong knights.
Yeah, because you can swarm with them.
Yeah, bring in the knights. I brought in the Knights of Summer at that point, 'cause initially weren't in the deck, and I think I took out the other 3-cost knights. And I've just kind of I brought the Hedge Knights in, which weren't in there because I didn't think they comboed as well with the attacking alone tech. But now, if you ignore that, that's 9 knights by playing a summer plot are ridiculously high strength when they're all put in together.
Yeah.
I like it, and it's a card that made me think surprisingly a lot about how I building the Knights deck, which I also quite like, because it's not just a case of whacking all the Knights in and having a good deck.
Yeah, it's nice that there are choices with doing a Knights deck now.
There used to be, has that got a Knight in the title? Yep, whack it in.
Yeah, now it's not just I'm building a Knights deck, it's I'm building a Knights Swarm deck, or I'm building a Knights attacking alone deck.
Imagine, quick L5R segue, I imagine it's going to be very similar to playing House Lion. That's a Clan Lion, basically, sorry.
Swarms? Okay.
Yeah, okay. Does that swarm? Oh, yes. Cool. Matt, Mrs. Red Wine?
Yeah, does Mara Red Wine. So I was thinking about this card. I think she's a lady, and if your deck is working with ladies, there's very little reason not to put one in her. I don't think her ability is actually that great, because that removing characters from challenges, I don't think it happens very often. And then when it does, you don't necessarily need to be giving characters +2 or -1 strength. But I figure I'll play her over Courtesan of the Rose in Reigns of Castamere.
Yeah,
And
she
I'll play
might
one
as
of-
well
Yeah,
blank the vast majority of the time.
yeah.
Maybe occasionally you get to trigger the reaction, and maybe occasionally triggering the reaction actually helps you. But for the most part, she's just a 2-cost lady with okay stats.
Yeah, because unless you're basically running High Garden or the Offer of a Peach.
Yeah, or
Or,
the attachment in this box.
Yeah, or a card that's coming up.
The only thing that makes me think that she might be useful is I think we need a male version of Tinder Marge, which searches for ladies.
So Hobber.
Yeah, but no, but when a lady
But like
dies,
repeatedly.
Oh, when a
when
lady
a lady
dies, right.
So maybe that could be the next Bronn, because obviously he does, well, going by the TV show anyway, he gets offered a lot of women.
Tyrion Lannister?
No, maybe.
What, a bit like brothel Tyrion. I guess it could be a little finger.
Oh, alternate Littlefinger. No, he doesn't get with ladies, capital L ladies. He
He
gets
doesn't
with
get it,
lowercase
but
ladies.
he hires them and disposes of them for a better one whenever he gets the chance.
That's lowercase. That's lowercase L ladies, not uppercase ladies.
I don't know. He gets with Sansa.
Yeah, and her aunt.
Yeah. He discards Lysa to get with Sansa.
Yeah.
Okay. I see what you're. An alternate Littlefinger. That would be kind of cool, actually. I'd like to see that.
And that's only one less than Marge did, so kind of works.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right, Maester Bolivar.
Yeah. So he's. We were just talking about challenge removal effects. He has a challenge removal effect.
Oh.
I think it's a pretty cool effect. I don't know how good he is, but it's a pretty cool effect.
Yeah. The problem is here, it's very conditional remove though, isn't it?
Yeah.
So my initial thought was, you'd probably whack him straight in the Maester's deck, but most Maesters are quite low strength.
Yes.
So unless you've got the Strangler on someone pretty good. So he does combo very well with the Strangler. Otherwise,
He does. This is true.
I'm not really seeing. Yeah.
Oh! He kicks out Theon Greyjoy.
Only if he's got the lowest strength in the challenge.
Well, yeah, but if he doesn't, then you don't care.
Yeah.
Think
about it.
I think that it's. I don't know what I think of him, because the problem is that you have to add the participating character.
Yeah.
So you have to already have a presence in the challenge, and either already be winning the challenge, or like they're opposing with multiple characters or whatever. So I think he goes well potentially with like the chapter pack Brienne, or like even I'm going to say this with gritted teeth, left and right, where the opponent, like, you just sort of have a default amount in the challenge, and your opponent is, if they ever want to use their characters that cost 2 strength, that have 2 strength or lower.
You know who would be really good with, actually? Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. No, that's okay.
Really be good in that Baratheon Rose deck with Bob in the challenge.
No, I've got a better card for that. That's coming up later.
But you do see what I mean. If there's King Bob going into the challenge, and they go, well, I can defend with these 2 characters. Well, they're probably going to be lower strength than Bob, so you just kick one out.
And then intimidate them down a moment later.
Yeah,
no, this is true, but I don't have space for a mono icon 1 strength 2 coster, to be honest.
I'm not saying it's good. It'd be a 1 of at best. So you can't rely on it. But that's the main card that screams out to me of he's probably going to be higher strength. The same probably goes in the mountain as well. Be able to trigger put to the swords easier.
Yeah, I think for me the main use of him isn't so much using him on your opponent's characters, but more getting to use him on your like first challenge in a crossing deck.
Yeah, that's fair.
Or like he goes well with the besieged plot later on as well. You just do a challenge and then pull your guy out, and they still have to defend it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like this. What I like about this guy is that there are certain situations where he can be pretty good. Like if you're dealing with, Maren Heat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like Maren Heat. Your opponent has Maren Heat on a Arbor Knight. He attacks you. You block it. You kick the you kick the Arbor Knight out of the challenge before he can kick your character out of the challenge. Same with dealing with 3 gold Theon Greyjoy. Theon Greyjoy attacks you, you block him. Theon Greyjoy has lower power than your character. Kick Theon Greyjoy out of the challenge.
He also goes well with your own Mare in Heat, in that you can declare a challenge with him, and then either they oppose with more strength, in which case you Mare in Heat them out, or they oppose with less strength, in which case you Balamar them out.
Yeah, but it is all very conditional, and it has to.
It is. Like he's not good in my opinion.
The main thing is there, you're giving your opponent decisions and hard decisions, and having to think whether defend with a high strength character, low strength character. You're just having to make them overthink everything. But
so what you're saying is, it's not that he's good; it's that he'll piss off your opponents and maybe kill them.
Yeah, exactly. Unlike the next card, which I think is just good.
Yes.
This card's great.
This is my nomination for best card in the box.
Yeah, I can see that actually.
This could be this box's Plaza of Pride. Yeah.
And it's an incredibly efficient stand card. Yeah,
exactly, and that it's an incredibly efficient stand card.
As I said before we went on air, Plaza of Pride doesn't die to Blood of the Dragon.
This is true. It accomplishes what Plaza of Pride does in a different way. But it doesn't. You don't have to discard cards to do it.
Of course, my default answer is that's fine. They could just knight all these courtiers.
And then you stand them with the courtier ability.
Yeah.
What is there to say? It's a brilliant card. First of all, characters like Marjorie from before, whose strength automatically goes up just from triggering her reaction. You can just stand her straight back up. Bob, the moment you kneel Bob and another character, hey presto, Bob's strength is raised and you can stand him with courtier.
Yep.
You can do that with Jogo.
Yes.
From Targaryen, he attacks and suddenly gains strength. Any character with a Dragonglass dagger gains strength just from entering the challenge.
Yes.
And that's not even getting into the obvious stuff like, playing Lord Renly's Ride and suddenly you're standing a character with Intimidate.
Yep. Or this is where I like 4 gold Knight of Flowers. Play an event, he gains 2 strength, stand him up.
Yeah.
Yep. And obviously the plot in this box, she's amazing with. She's fantastic.
Saying that, what's it? The Pavilion. You put a knight into a challenge, he gets his strength increased by attacking alone, then can do another challenge. Yeah. No, she's just good. Yeah, you are right. She's better than Marge.
Renly's Pavilion, growing strong. Yeah. There's just all sorts of ways to increase your characters. Yeah.
Tyrell have a strength increase theme? Is that new?
What do you know?
And of course, the ultimate one of the surprise winner as well to then use her to stand someone.
Yeah, or if you're doing her in Lannister, you can do the intrigue with Tywin, trigger Tyrion to gain gold, and then kneel her to stand Tywin.
Oh my god.
Oh no. Oh dear.
Not quite as obvious as Robert Baratheon, but
basically do searches for effects that increase strength. You can trigger her off them.
There's a few. Right.
So I think the lesson here is if your deck includes ways to increase your character's strengths, play this card.
Yeah?
Yes.
I think that's
for starters, if your deck is a Tyrell deck, play this card.
Yes.
If your deck isn't a Tyrell deck, but it's Banner Rose, look at what cards you're bannering and what cards you have in your deck. If any of them increase strength, play this card.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So the Jousting Knight. He's a 2 for 3, can't attack with anyone else. Always has no strength. He's an efficient Jousting Knight. Job done. There's not much else to say, really, is there?
Yeah, there is one thing I'd like to note.
Oh, yeah.
Even though he doesn't seem like he goes in the Knights deck that does like Tourney for the King and stuff, he can still attack or defend. So if you play Tourney for the King, he still has renown, and he can still enter the challenge. You just it doesn't contribute to strength, but you can still use him to do a giant renown challenge. Yeah, just want to throw that out there.
No, he's a very good card.
I just want to throw out there, for a Jousting Knight, he doesn't have a lance
or a shield.
He's just a knight riding a horse. He doesn't even have his visor down.
No, he's waiting. You see, he's lined up, or he's in the process of lining up, and he doesn't receive his lance until he's lined up and ready to go. Remember, a squire hands him a lance.
Yeah.
So this guy, look at him. Look at the way he's looking down. He's praying to the 7 right now. He's thinking about that. He's thinking about the fact that he's about to face the mountain.
I about to say he's the guy who gets killed by the mountain, isn't he?
All I'm saying is he should be called Almost Jousting Knight.
Almost.
Yeah, he's not quite there. Like 5 minutes from Jousting Knight.
Imminently Jousting Knight.
Imminently jousting.
I also like the fact that his flavor text is longer than his rules.
Yeah.
Always a good sign.
Yeah, he's not quite first edition Brown Ben Plum, but he's up there.
Right, the High Tower. Now this card had everyone's knickers in a twist at one point.
Yeah.
So I'm still not sure it's a tournament winning card, but it seems pretty good. And it has the simple thing: forecast reaction after a Tyrell character enters play under your control, gain 1 gold and draw a card. Now,
see, I think this is actually better now than it was when everyone lost their crap over it. Because when everyone lost their crap over it, we didn't know about Old Town Informer and we didn't know about Flea Bottom.
Okay. No, I agree.
People were thinking of it as, well, you can trigger it once around, maybe, in Banter Bridge you get to trigger it twice or whatever. Now I'd say a typical Tyrell deck should be able to trigger this twice around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And at that point, it's getting you the draw of the red keep and it's paying for itself in 2 rounds.
I agree with that. The issue is it's building a deck around it, relying on it. So like the red keep's going to be a lot easier to get very soon. Even right now you can support people it. You're relying on building orders or just to see it?
I think you run it in the same way that you run the Arbor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you set this up?
This and the Arbor setup wouldn't be bad.
It depends on how much of a plot in this box we think we're going to see. But if I got the chance to set it up, especially with another non-limited location, then definitely.
Yeah, this one. I think the forecast actually really balances this. If this were like 2 or 3, it'd be kind of bonkers.
If it was free cost, I think it'd be way too good. If it was free cost.
Yeah, but the fact that it's forecast, I think, means that you kind of have to want it.
Yeah.
So, which means you're going to leverage it, which means you're going to probably build your deck around it.
Again, it's a good card because it's a good design because you're not going to sit in every deck because you've got to make the most of it. So like with if you're running a Mace deck, you probably want this.
Oh yeah,
definitely a Mace deck. Yeah,
and if you're running Flea Bottom, you need a good reason not to include this. But otherwise, I don't know.
I can see it going in as a one-off in other decks just because, like maybe if you were running 3 Arbors, maybe you run 2 Arbors and 1 High Tower. Just because
it's so expensive.
It is, but the draw is good in this game.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. But at the same time, it's tough to budget all the slots for draw that doesn't do anything else. Like sometimes it's hard to put in 3 pleasure barges, even though it's like sweet draw.
Sure.
If you run 3 of this, do you run 3 pleasure barges though?
Probably not. Yeah. Probably if you're running this, I don't think you do run
slots. Yeah. I think they're a similar spot. Whereas the pleasure barge is obviously a lot cheaper to get out, at least initially. Doesn't pay for itself like this does, but. Yeah, I don't know. I still think it's a good card, but whereas everyone beforehand was saying, "Oh, this card," it just seemed like every Tyrell deck was imagining was going to run this card.
Well, it's an engine, and engines tend to freak people out. But at the same time, though, by cards that act as an engine that you build a deck around, that's good for the game.
Yeah. and it's not like a horrible effect, that never ending, that inevitability, or what's it like, Harrenhal, both Harrenhals, which can feel like a bit of a soul-crushing card. Was it? Gaining a gold, drawing a card. Now, I personally think the draw part of it's probably one of the best parts of it, and what makes it a really good card. But it doesn't feel quite as crushing.
As like Harrenhal.
Either Harrenhal
or the Wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing is you have to compare it to the other 4-cost locations.
Yeah, like the Wall. Yeah, that's true.
This sets out the stall for your deck in the same way that the Wall sets out the stall for a Lani deck. The moment the High Tower or the Wall hit the table, you know what you're going to be getting.
Yeah. So I think we can whiz through this one as well. The Red Wine Straits, it's a 2 for 2 limited.
Well, here's a question about this one. Yeah. Do you run this or do you run the Arbor?
So I'm currently testing, and this is 2 of each.
2 of each?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I don't want to really necessarily want to see a dupe of them, but I kind of also do because political disaster is everywhere.
Yeah, that's my answer. Is I run 3 of each and then go political disaster.
Oh, you run 3 of each. I'm not leveraging political disaster at the moment.
Yeah, but I love political disaster out of Tyrell because of the arbor, and this just makes me love it more.
That's fair.
So you do 3 of each.
So what's your other econ then?
I mean, this is hypothetical, but I'd run maybe 3 of each of them, and then depending on the deck, 4 combined across Great Hall, Rose Garden, Rose Road, Vineyard, that sort of thing, and just make it so that I can ideally political disaster, have at least one of them duped, and have +5 gold coming out of the political disaster plus an effect location like Flea Bottom or Pavilion.
So you play this over the summer 2 for 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Maybe run both. I could see an argument for both. I think it depends on your curve. So I've been running a lot. The other deck I'll be looking at's got quite a low curve. So I've dropped the I don't know how sort of summer plot. So I've dropped
the
arbor for the summer one. Was it the Red Wine Vineyard?
Yeah.
And I have 3 of these. So 3 of these, 3 vineyards, and I think it's 3 rose gardens.
Okay.
And that's one build I'm currently messing around with because I don't need such later on in the game I can afford a 2 gold location fairly straightforward. A 4 gold one I probably can, but it's a little bit of a tempo hit still.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think this makes the arbor obsolete, and I don't think it makes the arbor vineyard obsolete. But I think you run this before you run either of the others.
Yeah, I think
that's
fair.
Makes sense.
2 is definitely better in that.
Yeah,
you probably run either the vineyard or the arbor along with this, depending on how your deck's structured.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, I've been seeing a lot of Greyjoy here in Britain, so that makes me actually kind of leery of running the arbor because we do not sow and urine are so nasty. But yeah, really? So this at least
I've never heard of that combo.
Yeah, you never heard of that combo?
No.
Yeah, it's because it's. But the thing about the arbor is that if it's not turn 1, it's such a pain in the butt to actually pay for to get out. Yeah, so at least this one it's much more affordable. Oh, here's a question. If you have 2 of them and you have red wine straights your opening hand, can you set them both up?
Well, I know this question came with the arbor, but this is a different card.
Yeah.
Right. Jousting Pavilion. I really like this card. I really like this
It's
card.
0 cost. That's great.
And we've already talked about all the character gets +1 strength while participating as alone, obviously attacking and defending, and we've talked about a card which is really good with that. Obviously, if you could knight Randall, it's a free Randall stand.
Yeah.
True. It's just a good card. I mean, I love 0 cost cards. Probably because. Sorry.
Sorry, you go.
I was going to say it's probably because I spent the first month or so of the game just playing Greyjoy.
Oh yeah.
So I'm used to being able to get having at least 9 0 cost cards in a deck.
Yeah, my comparison point was going to be the Ironfleet Scout.
Yeah.
Which I think this is about as good as. Obviously, the Ironfleet Scout is a bit more general in that this only goes in a Knight's deck, whereas that can go in any deck that cares about strength pumps and has Greyjoy characters.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's a great comparison. The difference is Scout, you kind of feel like you want to go first with the Scout. You don't have to, but you kind of do. And obviously, the Scout makes cards like Core Balon just really good. And makes Dagmar really good, which it's always going to make Dagmar good.
It does kind of power the Dagmar meta that we're in.
I love Dagmar. Obviously, this one you say is more conditional, only on knights. Got to be attacking, defending alone. But I hear there's quite a lot of tech for attacking and defending alone.
Yeah, I mean potentially ignoring extra challenges. It's theoretically possible that this one location gives you a net +6 strength across the challenges phase.
Yep.
It's giving it to you in each of your challenges and each of your opponent's challenges. Whereas obviously the Scout caps out at 2. So
I just want to quickly talk about the wording though, because I just find this quite funny. So each night you have attacking and defending alone. Well, sure.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Each implies that you're going to have more than one.
Yes. No, this one's defending the military and this one's defending the military, but they're not next to each other. They're both alone. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Obviously, this is going to. I think for Y, you're going to see some night builds based around this. Obviously, the one I've kind of talked about earlier. This in Lannister, Jaime Lannister, or the Mountain. is not bad.
I mean, with the mountain, it's kind of isn't it?
With the mountain with a jousting.
Hold on now. The mountain attacks alone, gets +1 strength, then you stand him up with the courtier.
Exactly.
What?
You'd have to then give him like an extra icon through Han Solo or something.
Well, you know,
Han Solo and noble lineage.
Yeah.
Okay, I agree. This is good if you're building a Lanny Rose Mountain Voltron deck.
There you go.
Which cries as soon as your opponent goes, yeah, I'm playing Martel. Fine.
Yeah, the usual.
Zero cost location goes in a certain deck. This is great. Art is brilliant too.
Yeah, nice. It's a lovely card. I kind of hoping. I don't know why. I really want to see this as a full bleed alt art.
The art is great.
I could see them doing something really nice about it. Oh, I almost wonder. It's really getting on a tangent here. We've not seen Store Champ play match yet. Something like this.
Yeah, something like this would be like a great Store Championship play match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially
but even as a Tyrell fanboy, it would be nice for them to not do a Tyrell Store Championship match for the third year in a row.
Yeah,
but they have the best art.
They do have the best
art.
They
do.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
It is gorgeous art. Even though my quibble would be that for a card called Jousting Pavilion, the short isn't a pavilion in the foreground.
Well, that's why you have to have the full art. Because then the pavilion will be in the foreground there.
Go. You're standing in the jousting pavilion looking out at the joust. Obviously. Okay. There we go.
Yeah.
So sorry.
Yeah. Just have to imagine it.
I do that. I just think about, right, you are right. What's it? Renly's Pavilion. All you see is pavilion. This one. What pavilion?
Kind of in the background, sort of.
Maybe. Actually, I'd say one thing I'm very confused about with a card called Jousting Pavilion. I can't see a computer and any way of inputting my tournament details. I'm very confused. And it should be orange, shouldn't it? That's the colour of that.
Yeah, really, it should be having some effect that discards events so that it feeds into the Annals of Castle Black.
So, Queen of the Seven Kingdoms.
Right.
Okay. Queen of the Seven Kingdoms. It's like Highgarden.
It's prime jank.
Yeah.
Like, in like both the good way and the bad way.
Did George have a little pee when he saw this?
I assume so.
So I gotta say, there is one deck that I think this fits perfectly into, and that is Targaryen Rose. So that way you can do Queen of the Seven Kingdoms, you can do Mother of Dragons, and you can do Breaker of Chains. All we need now is the Unburnt. That needs to come eventually, and then we'll be like full Daenerys Voltron.
So yeah, jank card.
Yeah.
Basically, you're saying you want to recreate her title.
Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet. That's Breaker of Chains, Mother of Dragons, Queen of the Seven Kingdoms, the Unburnt.
Yeah.
Now, we need Khaleesi the Great Grass Sea, and then we'll be set.
Any reason you run this over? Actually, there's one reason to run this over Offer of a Peach, and I imagine that's because the Queen trait, I think, is going to start coming a bit more important soon, isn't it?
That would be nice to see.
Do we have any cards that interact with it yet?
We do not.
With the Queen trait, there's a plot in here that does.
Oh, right, yes. Cool.
There's a plot? Yeah. Oh, yeah, but kinda. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, technically.
Tawny Lance, it works really well, Jousting Pavilion.
It's a reprint of a First Ed one. The First Ed one didn't give you +1 strength, but it did draw you a card when you played it.
Mm-hmm.
And that saw no play. But then the attack or defend alone wasn't really a theme in first edition.
Okay. It's a big theme of Tyrell.
Yeah, it basically, if that theme is good, then this card is good.
Yeah.
If that theme is not good, you're not going to play this card.
So, the obvious thing is you take the Jousting Knight, you give him this, so you basically pay 3 gold for a Strength 4 character. You have your 3 Jousting Pavilions out, he's Strength 7. And they can only defend with 1 character, and you play Lazy Santa's Rose. That's obviously the dream.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that happens 100% of the time.
Exactly. You always see that combination.
There is a parallel universe in which that happens.
Now, everyone knows that every setup for Tyrell is you get three Drowsing Pavilions, the armor, that night the guard and caretaker, and this lance, and you sit there going, "That's my 7 gold setup, 8 gold setup." It happens every game.
This seems almost on the level of like Corsair's Dark. Almost.
Oh no, Corsair's Dark's better than this.
Yeah, because of like 2 strength and stuff, but
and it steals gold.
Yeah, and it steals gold. But
and the amount of it's probably bad play in some respects. The amount of people play on on Jousting Pavilion who then not Jousting Pavilion, sorry, the Iron Throne, who forget to play something to get rid of that gold, and then I just steal it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Well, so I guess Tree Lance, it can round out your Knights deck.
I think it's good. It gives you some options. As I said, I can't decide if it's just good on cheap characters you're throwing into challenges and you can buff them really easily, or it's just better on someone like Jamie or the Mountain. I think that's kind of I can't really decide with it because the Knight only trait makes it a little bit awkward.
Yeah, well, it makes sense. You're not going to have Queen Marjorie charging into court with her lance.
Well, no,
that'd be hilarious.
Unless you knight her.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless you knight her, then it'd be hilarious.
But yeah,
basically, doing the litmus testing again. If you're running the Garland from this box, consider the lance. If you're not, don't.
Guys, I've just got it. I've worked it out. So you do Greyjoy Rose.
Okay.
Oh, for God's sake.
Here we go. You knight Dagmar.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then it all just plays out for you.
So you're playing your knights attacking your own deck out of a faction with 0 knights.
Although,
You've got
shouldn't they get a card? Shouldn't they get a card called the Knight? At some point.
There was the knight in first edition. He was the only knight that Greyjoy got for the entire span of the game.
Oh, really?
Greyjoy has a knight. We just haven't seen him yet in this edition.
Is that a unique character or a non-unique character?
Yeah, he's a unique character. He's one of the Harlaw kids. And he is the only knight in the Iron Islands, which is why he's called the Knight.
Because he is the only...
Yeah, it's like the reader. He's the only guy who can read.
Why am I having... I don't know if Matt will get this. Why am I getting flashbacks to Little Britain? I'm the only knight in the Iron Islands? Oh, right.
Oh, that's how he talks in my head now. Thank you.
Yes. Right. Melee at Bitterbridge. I can't decide if this is the best event I've seen in a long time or awful.
Awful.
I gotta admit, I kind of like this thing.
I don't know.
You could just win it. You just turn a challenge around for like 2 gold.
No, you don't turn it around for 2 gold though, because for 2 gold you're giving your guy renown and removing their guy. But this is coming back to the Balabar thing, where they have to commit with multiple characters for you removing one with lowest strength to actually help you.
I've got it. You spend 2. You put those 3 jousting knights, which currently are into a challenge together, and they're ready strength 0, so you're not losing anything out of it.
James, I think I know what's going on. I'm just so used to having Robert Baratheon and the highest strength among those characters. I always have that character with the highest strength.
Okay. If there's a single deck it goes in, it's that Barrow Rose that we were talking about. But then Bob already has renown.
Yeah, that's true.
When you're playing 2 gold for a
what I was thinking about this, what I was initially thinking about this is you can do stuff like opponent swings in with Euron and Asha. You kick out Asha. That's nice. Yeah. Oh, it doesn't contribute her strength. Oh, so she'd still stand up and stuff.
Yeah, she'll still stand.
This is what I was thinking of. Your opponent comes in with multiple big characters. You at least, you pay 3 gold and now they're only coming in with 1 character. Yeah.
No, yeah. In a game which is also becoming really, really tough to make your events slots fit. Yeah. So, 6 maidens in a pool. It's a song.
I kind of like this card.
Draw 1 for each lady character you control. So, as you guys may or may not know, I have been spending a while playing a ladies deck with Stark and Tyrell. Obviously, out of Tyrell. Draw's good. This kind of... I would think in some respects this is possibly better than a Pleasure Barge in that deck. Because there are turns I have 5 ladies out. drawing five cards for an immediate 2 gold then, rather than a -1 gold for every turn going onwards. Not bad.
Yeah.
This is better mid to late game than whereas Pleasure Barge is better early game, I'd say though.
Well, Pleasure Barge is great in the late game too, because like the downside doesn't really mean anything in the late game.
I'd be drawing more cards though, hopefully, if the deck's doing what it should be doing.
It looks fun, and it's also a great argument for playing Silver Hairnet to help you pay for this.
Oh, Matt, you need to get over the Silver Hairnet.
I just want to make it work.
God.
I'm now thinking we need to do a sub-podcast of Matt and George just come up with jank combinations.
Well,
I've already presented like half the episode, and that's the Daenerys Voltron.
What we need to do is do a self-help cast where Matt suggests these cards and gets shot down by logic.
Yeah. Back to the card. What were you going to say, Wamma, about the card, sorry?
I was just going to say, I think you're probably not running this and Pleasure Barge.
No.
Okay,
so,
yeah.
Like we were saying with High Tower before, you've got a limited number of slots for these draw cards. This is an option. Depends how many ladies you're running, really.
So, yeah.
So,
and I would say so. I think, in some respects, I think this is almost as good as the Martell one. Secret Schemes, is it?
Secret Schemes.
Yeah. Because that's relying on plots. This is relying on ladies. Now, again, you have to build... Obviously, you have to have plots in your deck. You don't have to have ladies. But if you are building that ladies, I'm going to win with All Men Are Fools deck. I think this fits in.
Sure.
Yeah, help dig for it.
Yeah.
And also, going back to what we were saying with the emissary before, I think one advantage this has is that you can re-trigger it through using the emissary or using annals. So for one copy of Six Maids in a pool, you can draw, say you draw 3 or 4 cards the first time and then another 3 or 4 cards the second time.
Yeah, that's pretty good, actually.
So here's a question, James. In your opinion, and say it's you as well, Ben, how many ladies do you need for this to become worth the slot?
At least, in your deck or in play?
In play. 2,
4,
3, 4?
4, I would say.
4 is your break point?
Maybe 3.
I think it can be as low as 1. It depends on the situation.
I don't like spending 2 gold for 1 card.
No, but I mean, if you're in top deck mode, then every card... It's like, I wouldn't want to have to draw this and then hold on to it for a round or 2 and hope that I found another lady to then be able to play this to draw an additional card.
That's fair.
So I guess my question is, if say like 60% of the time you are playing this with 2 ladies in play, is it worth the slot?
So it depends on the deck. So obviously the ladies one you've got regularly you're seeing Asha, Sansa, so Arya, Sansa, and Marge, because they're all 3 odds in the deck. So you should be seeing
a Brienne and a Desmera.
But basically every other lady, I think, bar 1. I had access to 1 lady at that point. Obviously, I need to rebuild it with the deluxe. And I won a game by triggering 2 All Men Are Fools and getting 10 power in a turn. So that was 5 cards. If I did that,
Yeah. Now you've built your deck around. Now you've built your deck to really leverage 6 Maids in a pool. I'm thinking what's the baseline that we're looking at here? 3 ladies.
See, I think if you're building around, you're building around 6 Maidens in a pool, but you are building a deck which is going to leverage 6 Maidens in a pool and All Men Are Fools to make that worthwhile. Mm-hmm. You need to have that many number of ladies. I think those 2 cards go hand in hand, and you probably drop your Pleasure Barges for 6 Maidens in a pool.
What do you think, James?
I think that sounds about right. That's. I've been doing this a lot. This casting is quite lazy, and I apologise for that. But if you're running All Men Are Fools, probably you should run 6 Maids in a pool.
Yeah.
And make sure you don't mix them up. You don't want to. 6 Maids are fools, but all the men are in a pool.
Yeah, I do admit that I like this card. If you're running a deck that has 3 copies of the new Queen of Thorns, absolutely put at least 1 6 Maids in a pool in there, because just because you can just be like, sweet, all right, I'll grab my 6 Maids in a pool when I'm going to draw 3 cards or 4 cards. Sounds amazing.
I should also warn, my current build for that is a bit janky because I'm running lots 3 Handmaiden. Is it Handmaiden? Sansa's Maidens?
Sansa's made the
that's like the deck. That's like the best. That was like the best Tyrell card out of that pack.
It was. It was great. No. It had Hornhill. That had a Hornhill.
Yeah. Okay.
It was the second best Tyrell card in the pack. Yeah, I was sitting there with a strength 10 Brienne going, come on, guys. Or strength 11 Brienne had in one game. I just don't kneel to defend. You can go first.
Strength 10 Brienne, you are almost to strength 15. You're like 2/3 of the way there.
Anyway, Hidden Thorns. Because we've still got all the non-Tyrell cards to go.
Yeah, we're like halfway through.
Yeah.
After you win an intrigue challenge by 5 or more strength, the losing player chooses and discards 2 cards from his or her hand. Then if you control the Queen of Thorns, return this card back to your hand into the discard pile. It's basically without his beard-ish, sort of, but no, I don't know.
It's the card I'd liken it to isn't so much without his beard as like an anti-Insidious Schemes.
Yeah.
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 In that it's a win by 5 trigger, and you're playing an event, and it's shifting the card advantage thing by 2, and then there's an extra little kicker thing you can do to make it better.
Yeah. It seems alright. I'm not convinced it's great.
I think
it's going to get into many decks.
If you don't have 3 copies of the Queen of Thorns, you shouldn't consider it, I don't think, because it's only worthwhile if you get to play it every time you win an intrigue challenge or win an intrigue challenge.
I don't know about that.
Maybe out of Lannister with Queen Cersei?
Well, out of Lannister, you'd rather run Insidious Schemes and without his beard.
That's true. Fair. Yeah, but I think if you're doing the Voltron and you're running the not Voltron twins, you know, when you're running where they don't kneel and you're running the Lord Renly's ride. So you're going to win by high strength. You're going to do multiple intrigue challenges probably. But yeah, I do think it's better combos. Yeah. I'm just trying to think of something that might be vaguely not rubbish.
Yeah, I kind of like this card. If you're going for like a hand strip, I think this could be pretty deep. This could be pretty nice. Like I'm thinking mid game, your opponent has like 5 cards in hand. You go in, you pay for this with your silver hairnet, and then and then swinging it by 2 cards. Like I think that sounds bad. That's not bad.
Moving
pay 1.
On. Okay, Matt, new rule. If you're defending a card and you immediately go and you're running the hairnet, the conversation immediately ends and you're wrong.
All right, I better not talk about Bend the Knee then. No, I think Hidden Thorns isn't bad. I think hand strip is definitely something that's always been waiting in the wings, and I think you can almost get it with this card. I think it really helps.
As Tyrell players, we're feeding for scraps of any effect that actually the opponent has to care about. Like the default by Tyrell is I'm going to try and get to 15 with my people and my effects just helping me out. Yeah. And then occasionally maybe I'll discard a character with House Florent Knight, but otherwise you do whatever you want and I'm just going to work on my side.
Yeah.
That's another card that says I'm actually going to do something that you're going to have to think about.
It might be worth considering if you're running Reigns.
Yeah.
Just because you're trying to win by 5 anyway. And more hand strip is not bad in that.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, it's a card that it only has a net discard of 1, because you're having to discard 1 in order to discard 2, and you're having to pay a gold, and it's a dead card unless you're winning an intrigue challenge by 5 strength.
If you're in a situation where you're very consistently getting card advantage by outdrawing your opponent, then I think this makes it, then that losing this 1 card isn't that big a deal.
Assuming that's why you need the Queen of Thorns, because then it is actually a net 2.
True.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, that's why I like it, because it just becomes twice as efficient then.
Okay. The River Runner.
You know what? Since I'm our Baratheon expert, I actually don't like this guy very much. The Baratheon 3-cost slot is so loaded up.
Yeah. That's where all your R'hllor is, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, it's loaded up with like all your R'hllor, and then you've got Queensmen coming in the next pack, which is more R'hllor. Yeah, I'm not really sure
about this guy. For the R'hllor decks, and unfortunately, that's all Barra has at the moment. So
exactly.
That's fine.
Which is why I still can't believe Barra hasn't got a big box yet, because they're the faction that's screaming for a big box.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah. Bend the Knee.
I think this is a good one of. I think I said in a previous cast when we spoiled this that for the most part you probably want to just run Even Hand Justice instead. That being said, I've been experimenting with Baratheon again, and in an environment that has lots of like Valar Morghulis and Marshal of the Wall, it can be hard to spare the gold and the free character, to use Even Hand Justice. But Bend the Knee, like I think it's if you're playing Robert Baratheon and maybe a copy of Stannis or 2. having at least one of is a really nice surprise. I'm discovering because I've been playing one of, and it's nice to be just like 1 gold, bop, your guys know.
The issue I have is it's a dead card against 2 factions.
2?
Oh yeah,
Martell. Most Martell decks.
Most Martell decks run 3 Ariane.
Yeah, but she doesn't care if she's knelt.
I mean, it makes her less efficient.
It's definitely dead against Night's Watch, and I think against Martell is suboptimal.
Yeah,
I'll agree. Martell's not the best.
This card is not good. I mean, but
it's a mythical card. If you're going into a tournament and expecting to see lots of Greyjoy and Lannister and Tyrell and start, then it's fantastic.
And you're expecting to have a king and him be standing like all the time.
Well, yeah, I mean, having him be standing against anything other than another Baratheon deck is quite easy.
The other thing is, Stark probably don't care about it quite so much because obviously they have a lot of stand tech anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that's already a problem for Baratheon.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I think in the end, though, like Bend the Knee, like I just don't have slots for it for the most part. You know, when you have like Scene in Flames, and then and like I said, you probably want to be running Even-Handed Justice. It becomes very hard to justify this one.
I think what it's a good companion to is Saving the Kingdom, because that kneels cheap things, and this broadly is going to kneel expensive things.
Yeah, that's fair. The 2 Greyjoy cards we're going to skip because we spoiled them.
Okay. I will say I think people are broadly underrating the Apostle.
I think he's good. I think Corpse Lake is the one I think spawned. I'm building a deck around Corpse Lake. I
think Corpse Lake is more obviously good, whereas I think the Apostle's getting written off, and I think that it's a pretty damn good card.
I think people are disregarding how good getting Theon back is.
It's unfortunately you can only recur non-uniques.
Non-uniques.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Apostle, like I said in the cast, about just the fact that it's 4 costs and has an intrigue icon. That's always nice.
Yeah.
It's Ironborn, so it works with certain other cards. But,
yeah, we've already established through multiple Drowned God cards that their theme is putting stuff back into play from the dead pile, and he does that. So, sign me up.
Yeah. So the Hound.
This is never going to see play.
Really wishes the other Hound didn't exist.
Yeah, the other Hound is just so much better.
You say it's never going to see play.
Yeah.
Eventually the other Hound's going to cycle out in 2 years.
Sure.
The other thing as well is Kingsguard might actually mean something at some point in the future.
It's possible.
Maybe. But
he can... that is
true.
It.
But right now, with Flea Bottom being everywhere, you want the other Hound.
Yeah.
He's in that weird place where his main value is in a Knights deck, in that he, is both... That way you can use him offensively if your opponent happens to have Knights, but he also has the background utility of being able to bounce your Knights if they're ones with comes into play effects. For example, the House Florin Knight.
Yeah.
Or, you can Harrenhal a character in, or, is it Kettle Black, the one who...
Yeah, that's true. You can, you jump Knights into play.
Yeah, and then use him to save them from the downside.
Yeah.
Although you need a way of getting him into play as well. But I think there's potential there. And if you are up against a Knights deck, he is an incredibly efficient card. If you're getting to, pay 4 to get a solid body and bounce a Knight of Flowers or a Gregor or whatever.
It's only when he get... Yeah, I guess that's the thing. It's the Knights of... Yeah, it's the bigger Knights, the Jamies, the... Obviously without attachments, though, because that could also be...
That can get a little
they
dicey.
have to have without attachments, otherwise you could play Knighted on your opponent's characters and then bounce them. Congratulations, Arise, Sir Tywin. Arise all the way back to your hand.
See no downside to this.
The problem is his name. If he was named anything else, then he'd be a very, very solid one of the Lani decks. As it is, he's a niche card that won't see much play until the other one rotates.
Right.
So, going by the way this is kind of set, are we going to have a Bronn that doesn't like the Hound, so he can bounce back Kingsguard?
I can see that.
The Lion's Tooth, Widow's Wail on steroids.
Well, more expensive, only 1 strength, unique character only, unique Lannister character only.
But the big thing I like here, so Lannister seems to be getting a lot of first snow effects.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this is another first snow effect. Obviously you've got to sacrifice it, which is 2 gold, well 1 gold if you don't ambush it in, to sacrifice it to return a free cost less character. Now, obviously, that could be quite good. That could be their Theon, as an example.
Yeah, it's got versatility.
But I'm struggling. I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm struggling to see how I take this over Widow's Wail, which doesn't see much play anymore anyway. But that you're playing.
I mean, I know they're both ambush weapons that boost strength, but I do think it's doing a different thing. Like, this is all about that action.
Yeah, but how many characters? Oh, and there are probably quite a lot of characters worth bouncing. Obviously, Marge.
Yeah, if you're going all in on like a first snow March strategy, one thing this does for you is if your opponent ambushes out a cheap character to avoid March the Wall, this just stuffs that idea.
Yeah, I guess the problem I have is obviously participating character.
Attached character has to be. Oh, it has to be participating.
Yeah, she's a participating character. That's a lot of text to make work.
I mean, on the face of it, like, even if you're not doing a particularly fancy trick with it, it's still an economy advantage to pay 2 to bounce something that costs 3.
And there are a lot of free cost characters that are pretty good, but there's also some free cost characters that have, for instance, you're playing against Baratheon. Well, they're all R'hllor characters. You're not bouncing them back to hand.
You could balance some of your own characters back to hand.
This is another use. With
the
Flea
Hound,
Bottom.
maybe put the Hound, get the Flea Bottom back in your hand rather than having to discard him for something if you think you're going to lose the challenge. That's very circumstantial. You have 2 characters into a challenge and not be winning it, but
I think it's got some broad efficiency, but you need to have specific synergies you're planning on hitting with it to justify a spot, I think.
Yeah, and it's properly costed for that. You have to want it.
Yeah.
I do want to take a moment to say I love how Nedley it is. That it's Joffrey's sword that Arya throws in the river, so Joffrey has to give up the sword, but then Arya goes and hides for, I think it's several days in the books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If Arya doesn't have a duplicate, then it's thematic.
Yeah.
Which she comes into play with. Okay, yeah. Now, I'm going to say here, Bastard of God's Grace, it's renowned in Martell. What more do you need?
This guy seems neat. This guy seems really neat.
He does a fantastic job of summing up how overpowered Tyrion is. Because Tyrion is also a 5-cost 4-strength Bicon with a keyword, who can get you a 2 gold thing. But this guy has to discard power to do it. Tyrion gets it just from you doing an intrigue challenge.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So reduce the next card you play,
But I mean, at the same time, being worse than Tyrion isn't exactly a criticism, because you can say that about probably still literally every card in this game.
Pretty much. That's fair. He's... Yeah, the only discard power to do something effect I like is Victarion.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I really struggle. I always think you're discarding. That better be an impactful card you're bringing into play.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, the good thing about the Bastard is that the majority of the time you don't have to discard power. You just have to be able to threaten to discard power.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
The opponent has to be like, well, you've got no gold left, but now that you've won a challenge with the Bastard of God's Grace, I have to worry about Vengeance for Elia for the rest of the game.
Yeah. The other one as well is, you're sitting on 3 gold, you got a power on him, so you could ambush in Hotar at any point.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That alone, the issue being there, and I think this is a conversation we had on a previous podcast with you, Wamma, is you are relying on your opponent to think like that and be smart enough to think like that.
Yes, you're laying traps that require them to know the cards that you're bluffing with. And then they just blunder in going, I don't know what could be the problem. Let's find out. And you're just like, for God's sake.
Yeah. Now, what's it? Hellholt, which is reverse honey wine. Well, not reverse honey wine, but kind of is.
Yeah.
Lose a challenge by 5 or more, gain a power.
This is a weird one.
Now,
I don't know what to think of this one, to be honest.
Does this replace... what's it, the Bone?
No.
Or do you take both and just hope you lose lots of challenges?
I think if you run one, you probably run the other. Maybe it replaces, if you were running 3 Boneway, maybe it replaces one of your 3 Boneways.
I'm seeing a jank combination where you run Martell, Martell Tyrell in some for combo, and you're using Core Marge to boost their strength so they win by 5.
Or you're using the Thorns March to bring their big characters into the challenge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh no, I lost by 5. Damn it.
Oh dear, what a shame. Never mind.
Yeah, I don't know what to think of this card, to be honest, because like you have to rely on your opponent to beat you by 5. Like,
I think the thing is that most people are losing. Like most of the people that I've seen talk about this card have been talking about it in the context of I hate it. It, Martel Stool is horrible to play against. This is a Martel Stool card. And what I'm thinking about is in those Martel Stool decks, the idea of them is essentially they get a lock on you. They make it so that you're not going to win the game, and then they win in their own time.
yeah.
And I don't know if that deck cares about a location that makes it so they win in their own time slightly quicker.
Yeah, no, I agree. Because the problem is, in some respects, you can kind of play around it, but I don't know. You have to be careful. It is tricky. I think Tyrell probably, which obviously is weird because this is designed to be, the cards in here are designed to play against Tyrell. But Tyrell have the most tools. They can kind of do a challenge and see how you defend before they decide strength buff.
It depends on whether it's a strength buff build or not. Because if you're going in with like Renly or Randall, you don't have a choice about whether you can potentially win that by 5.
No, but if they're not, if they're not going to defend, so let's say I'm going to strength 5 power challenge with Randall, you don't defend. Brilliant. I've got unopposed, claim, and renowned.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong.
You gain a power.
Okay.
I don't think this is a good card. I should make that clear.
There is one deck that I think this could go in, and if you're crazy enough to do Night's Watch Martel, you can totally put it in there. Yeah. Like you have the wall and you have this thing.
I think it'd be better the Bone Way, wouldn't you still?
Well, because the Bone Way is loyal.
Oh,
okay. This is non-loyal.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I do think that, that is the kind of deck where this is going to be annoying.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, unlike the wall, this is vulnerable to all sorts of crap. You can make Lord this, you can Frozen Solid it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Dagmar.
Night's Watch, small pool, who I think got quite badly slated on Facebook when he got spoiled. I quite like him.
I do too.
Ignore his interrupts. Worst case scenario, he's a 5 for 5 military and intrigue and has no attachment set weapon. Sign me up. He's got stewards, that might do something. It's not the worst trait. And if he's killed, you look at the top X cards for a steward character, reveal it. That bit is just a bonus as far as I'm concerned.
Basically.
He goes in the Jon Snow, like the Watchers Jon Snow Reigns deck that's already wanting to have big intrigue icons and wants reliable ways to find Jon Snow.
Yep.
He's a one-off in that deck, which is a perfectly reasonable place to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed that over this past cycle and a half or so, the days of the Night's Watch receiving lots of monocons is kind of over. They have so many bicons now.
I think they kind of need to go that way, though, because I think design-wise, it's very hard to make another Ranger with one icon that does something. So you need to start branching out. I quite like the guy. The guy ambushes and weapon again. Even you don't ambush weapons in with him.
4 for 4. Yeah.
He's a 4 for 4 military. So again, military intrigue. So that's the way I look at it. I don't think there's much more to say. He's a good one-off. I think he's a good one-off in most Night's Watch decks, except maybe the builders, because you're not going to look at many swords. But that's probably about it. Or the Ranger deck, if that ever becomes a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Broken Vows.
Crap now will be good later.
There is obviously the jank thing people have talked about, where you you bring in with Last of the Giants a unique like
a neutral and then swear them to the watch.
Yeah, and then you swap over, and then they die at the end of the phase.
So it only costs you 3 gold and 3 cards.
And you get, but obviously you can get their 6 cost character. It can win you the game, but at the same time, that's a lot of effort for this. I think I'd rather just play the the one at the Indominance where you just discard their best character.
Yeah, basically it needs cards where most of the value has occurred once you've played them. So, there aren't many of those in Night's Watch, or I don't know if there's any even. But if they had equivalents of stuff like Green Blood Trader,
Newly Made Lord,
or Newly Made Lord,
Yeah.
those sorts of cards, then this gets good. Also, if they get more cards like Grizzled Miner that have cost values that aren't really true, then it gets value from.
I'm actually starting to, now that I think about this, see a few uses for this. If you're running into
you
decks
mentioned
that
Silver Hairnet, I swear to God.
Okay, James, get ready.
Yeah.
Okay, you know how annoying 3 gold Theon Greyjoy is?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, this, if I remember correctly, was it Craster's Keep? The Mutiny at Craster's Keep. That won't get rid of Theon Greyjoy because that gets rid of their most expensive character.
No, it gets rid of your most expensive, but you get to choose any of theirs.
Yeah. So, but this right here, this is a pretty flexible card.
I'm actually seeing a use for that if you're thinking about save, because if Theon keeps getting through your defences because you can't physically get weak enough, you then get rid of a ranging party and take him. That's not the worst idea I've ever heard.
So if you're really concerned with low cost characters that have really that have abilities, you can take control of them. This card is actually kind of flexible now that I think about it.
You sacrifice one of your characters, take Serene, then play Valor next turn?
The thing is, you say it's kind of flexible. It requires you to have a Night's Watch character of higher cost than whatever you want to take, and the card you want to take to be non-loyal.
Yeah, one of your 4-ups, like your 4-costers. Like you have a bunch of those. Yeah, and you already have a bunch of those, and that means you can take.
Run that many 4-costers though. Like they run the ranging party, but there are very few 3-cost non-loyal characters that are better than a ranging party. I think the list starts and ends with Theon.
Ranging parties are bloody good. I still think they're the best 4-cost in the game. Well, no, because then he'll jump back to, unless you're going to keep discarding cards, he'll end up going back to their side. I can't think of many.
Okay.
So Holland, which I'm very disappointed is not just Butterbumps or Moonboy with a military icon. I didn't like him initially. The more I think about him, he's actually not bad. It's the obviously when a lady character would be killed or discarded. Now this the or discarded from play that I think makes it like him, because that's Vex an extra save from Varys, and that's the important one, especially for Stark, because they can struggle a bit with the defense against something like Varys. Unless you're on 2 behind the gates, like any good Stark player should do.
He definitely goes in your All Men Are Fools 6 Maids in a Pool deck.
Yes, he does. As a cheeky one-off. Which I'm now starting to think needs to be an alliance, and we need to get what's his face and Baratheon in there as well. But no,
this doesn't seem bad.
He's all right. He's all right. He's a lot, but the problem is he's a 3-coster, and that's a really full slot for Stark.
Because you have like Arya and
you got Sansa, you got Summer. They're already fighting for those slots.
Although he is good with all of them.
He's not good with
this
Summer.
He can be recurred by Summer.
Oh, that's true. You got Lewin as well. You got Lewin as well. Lewin. Good with. Yeah, no, he's good. He's a good one. You're not gonna run more than that. While you're running those ladies, and if he keeps Fat Cat around or normal Cat, it's worthwhile.
The problem from my perspective is that obviously he has to stand to save them, so he's not going to be able to save from Valor. And a lot of the time against Stark, you generally don't do the military anyway because it stands their board with Rob.
Yeah. So you have to do the military of him. But then, saying that, you just do worst case scenario, okay, I'm going to do a military of this one guy. Unless I've got the mountain, that probably won't go wrong for you.
Yeah. I think he's solid. I don't think he's spectacular.
I know what you mean, it's the having to kneel him, and it's the problem with Sir Barristan sometimes, is getting him knelt. Although he's a lot easier to get knelt.
Yeah. Well, the thing about Sir Barristan is that I've noticed that my opponents will stealth him a lot.
Yep.
Where are you really going to stealth Sir Dantos over Robb Stark?
It's fine. Sir Barristan, you just give him an intrigue icon and you just go and do the intrigue of him.
Yeah, no, that's true. But what I'm saying is, Sir Barristan, you stealth him, that's 6 strength. You stealth Sir Dantos, are you really going to do that? Over Robb Stark or Eddard Stark?
Yeah, no, that's fair.
In the name of no one having played our Joker on him, should we move on?
Yeah. Last Heath. Nil Last Heath to give a participating start character +2 strength to the end of the phase. 3 strength if there's fewer than 3 cards in the discard pile. 1 gold seems a good one of. Would you really?
I like this card. I like this card a lot, actually. It's a Widow's Wail that you get to use over and over and over.
Does this go in the Stark aggro deck, and you're looking to put to the swords and ice?
It may well go in that deck. I think its main place will be in a range deck to help win by 5 on the intrigue.
That's fair.
But I think overall it's an efficient card and it's a boring card, and we should probably move on.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Efficient and boring, but I think it goes in every Stark deck. Just one of everyone. All right. Anyways,
someone else said the Targaryen card because I cannot pronounce that.
Kotho.
Okay.
Kotho.
I think.
He discards 2 Targaryen cards to come into play for free and is a 5 strength Vicon, and he has good traits.
This guy's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Reigns loves him. Fleabottom loves him.
Yeah.
Retaliation loves him.
Yeah. This guy's pretty amazing in modern Targaryen.
Yeah.
Oh, he gives Jogo stealth.
Yeah.
He does.
What? So surprise stealth mid challenge phase.
Oh, yeah.
Or surprise intimidate with Rakaro. Obviously less common because Rakaro's worse than Jogo, but still.
And obviously, potentially, he still only works fairly good with, what's his name, the other one, the standy one?
Aggo,
that's the one, thank you. He's pretty good. I like him. Again, I'm going to put him into my range deck and have a mess around with that.
Yeah,
I think he's a one-of in basically every Targ deck, and I know we're not meant to say that because
at some point he won't be.
Because at some point you have more than 60 one-offs, but he just is very efficient. People are gonna overestimate how bad it is to discard 2 Targaryen cards.
No, not at all.
Not round 1, you discard your second sons and a dragon is no slave or whatever.
Yeah. I have 3 words for you guys. Turn 1 retaliation.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you got Khal Drogo on the board, maybe.
Boom. Yeah, this guy's great for a Drogo deck because you just push yourself over that line to just wipe your opponent's board.
So on the base stuff that we're just going to get the silver net or whatever is that Matt keeps going on about, I'm going to say we skip the Targaryen attachment.
Matt Slade's favourite card in the box. I don't know why.
While attached characters participating in challenge, each character without attachments can't gain power, and gets +1 strength to each attachment this character has.
That second ability, I don't know. That shuts down a lot of things.
You're not going to put a card in your deck solely to counter other cards that your opponent might have in their deck.
Yeah, like renowned characters. Yeah.
Renowned characters that are going to be on the table at the same time as a character that you put Tokar on that you have nothing better to do with than to chump oppose the renowned characters challenges.
Okay, James, that episode where we shut down my ideas, that comes later.
I think the main point of this is the +1 strength for each attachment it has, and I don't think there's enough support for that kind of deck. Maybe one day there will be. Targaryen might get a bunch of good 0 and 1 cost positive attachments. But right now, it's been more in the realms of the Mother of Dragons, Breaker of Chains style, where they're getting these big expensive attachments that are the point of the deck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that doesn't go well with Tokar. You need a character where you're going to routinely throw 4 or 5 non-terminal positive attachments on them, and then when they die, they all come back to hand, and now I'm going to put them all on my next character. And that
the big one I also say is Targaryen doesn't tend to run bodyguard, which obviously would synergize quite well if this was almost any other faction. Mm-hmm. They're only really running 1 attachment these days. Who's the character? Is it you get 1 gold or 2 gold every time you play an attachment?
Jarrow, but that's only uniques.
Yeah, unique attachments.
Is this not unique? No, it's not.
Yeah, this is non-unique.
Okay. Yeah, nah. Move on. The Archmaester. Kneel a Maester character to choose and stand another Maester character. 5 for free with intrigue and power. Why do I have a feeling these Maesters decks are going to look like a bunch of cack when you look at these characters individually, but somehow going to merge into this vault just beast of a I don't know how it's winning deck.
Well, if that's ever going to happen, we have the man who's going to do it right here on our cast.
Yeah, it's true. Go on, Wamma. Go on. You can do it.
I have actually been playing a Conclave deck lately, and I like it quite a lot. How many copies of this guy do you think is in it?
None.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, the 5 for 3 means that you really have to leverage this guy a lot in order to make it worth the slot. If he was 5 for 4, you're more likely to play him, but 5 for 3,
or if he was 4 for 3, I'd like him quite a lot if he was 4 for 3.
Yeah, there you go.
He's far too inefficient. There isn't enough of a disparity in maesters. Like, all of the maesters except him cost 2 or 3.
Yeah, and do kind of similar things when it comes to their strength and their icons. There are like no military maesters, right?
You're needing what? Citadel Novice to stand Calliot. And it's like, that's fine, but it's not worth paying.
You've still got to lose 2 challenges. You've still got to lose 2 challenges for that to be worthwhile. So you're still losing challenges.
Yeah.
The only version of it I like is if you get incredibly lucky and you have 2 Citadel Novices on the table, you can kneel one to stand the other and trigger them repeatedly.
Now, that's one of the things. The one thing I'm going to hit on this a bit more when we actually get to the agenda, but I'm actually a bit disappointed by the lack of Maester support in this box.
Yeah,
it's the same with the Night's Watch box. I think that should have had a lot more winter tech in it and choke tech, and it just didn't. So, Faceless Man. This has been talked about a lot, so I think we don't need to hit on this much. He's good.
Interesting
he's really
card.
interesting. I think he's good. Yeah. The thing I like is it's a card you need to wait, because obviously you need dead characters for him to be worthwhile. So he should never probably be free of, because you don't want to set him up.
Yeah, he's kind of like the Silent Sisters.
Yeah,
and
he's solid in any deck. He's very good in Targ, and he's very, very good in melee.
Yeah. Oh, melee. Yeah. Citadel Novice, we just talked about Citadel Novice now. I've not even looked at this card, that's how bad this is.
I love the Novice a lot more than Ebros. Like, he triggers really well with... Like, I've been playing with Stark Conclave and getting to win a challenge with a Maester, put Frozen Solid on top of my deck, and then draw it straight away.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're playing Maesters, play this guy.
You're running a Stark, fair enough.
Yeah,
he is much better as far as like a generic grease the wheels card for the Conclave than Ebros is.
Yeah. On the subject, the Conclave is the next card. Now,
Citadel's the next card, isn't it?
Citadel. I've still got quite a few more cards. Citadel, search the 10 cards for your deck for a Maester character, reveal it, add it to your hand, shuffle your deck. Are you running the Conclave? If yes, this goes in your
deck.
Play
this card.
Maybe there might be a deck that doesn't run the Conclave that runs this.
That has enough Maesters to make it worthwhile.
Yeah, or not even necessarily has enough Maesters to make it worthwhile, but like is built around a Maester. Maybe if you're running Night's Watch with the big Aemon.
Yeah, but so you're running Night's Watch.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
If we get more Maesters that you can't... Yeah, that you can't hit to serve, exactly.
Because that is the one issue. Yeah, because that's the one issue here to serve. It has to be free cost or less. Unlike
that's every Maester except Ebros and Aemon to date. So
because it's not like the Stark one, which is search a direwolf if it's free cost or less. Put it into play, otherwise whack into your hand. The Strangler, which is the only which is meant to be a negative attachment, but you're playing Greyjoy, you may want to whack it in to put it on your own Theon.
Yeah, the Theon autoerotic asphyxiation deck.
Yeah. And the best is...
I'm kind of curious about this card, actually.
Until the end of the challenge, he's immune to Jakaris.
Yeah, like I kind of want to put it on Melisandre so she can't get hit by Crown of Gold. But we're getting into Silvernet Hairnet territory.
It's only while you're in a challenge.
Oh, never mind. All right. So the question. This seems really good. Like the fact that you can, basically take a character out of challenges, by reducing it down to 1. That seems pretty good. But slots, how do you run this?
It's competing with Milk, and it's competing in Night's Watch, which is the one that runs the most negative terminal attachments with Craven.
And so it's basically synergizes with Howder.
Yeah, and also. If you're not planning on making any attacks, then you'd rather shut down their attacks altogether than make them 1 strength.
Okay.
However, there are a lot of decks that I think are focusing on challenge strength, and again, it comes down to a meta thing. If you're expecting to march into a meta full of, Martell shenanigans and full of Night's Watch stuff and so on, then yeah, you're gonna want to, you're not gonna want to run this. But if you're going into expecting, to see like Euron and I don't know, like Tywin and Randall,
this shuts Dagmar down. This shuts Dagmar down.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So on that basis of
this just shuts down tons of characters.
I don't know if you'd run it over Milk. Is the thing. We need the meta to get into a place where the characters being played were more about strength than about effects.
So,
which sounds like a really tedious meta to be in.
So I think the thing for this is, I think this one of those cards, I'm glad it exists because it gives more options. But as you say, it has a bit more of a niche ability. I'd rather they did this and just made like a new version of Milk that was more powerful. As an example, I'm not saying you could do, but you get what I'm saying. Rather than just pushing the existing themes, they're coming up with new themes that do a similar thing. But
I do think it's overcosted, though. I think if it was one cost, then the choice between this and Milk would be interesting, and I think Milk still win more often than not.
Yeah.
So the fact that this is the one that costs more, I'm like,
I agree.
There is one problem with this. The Strangler kills Joffrey. This does not kill anybody.
Yeah.
Little known fact, Joffrey, shortly after taking the drink that contained the Strangler, suddenly, out of nowhere, a House Florent Knight dropped in.
What? They must have cut that out of the TV show. I didn't see that part.
Budget.
They must have cut that out of the book. I didn't read that part.
No, it's definitely in the books.
You've got to read between the lines. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they mentioned something of House Florent was there. So he was a bit late on arrival.
Okay.
Also, Grey Wind ate him. That was the other thing that happened.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay, that's right. Grey Wind.
Even though Grey Wind was dead at that point.
Okay, maybe this isn't like... I know the British versions of these books are so weird, where like you split up the books into two books each, like so you really have like 10 books or something weird like that. So maybe I just need to read the British books.
They're far better than the American ones. So we have a lot more use. You have a lot more use, less to use.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. All right.
Words are wind.
As we've proven.
Yes, this is basically a bad hand judgment, but is 0 cost.
It's basically, you've got to think of it as a card draw event.
Yeah.
Rather than as a hand judgment.
Assume you're going to draw 2. Yeah. And it's neutral draw. There's not a lot of neutral draw. Compare this to Dragon's Tail.
Yeah.
It's basically, if there was a card that was 0 cost and there was just action, draw 1 card, then every 60 card deck would have 3 copies of it because it does nothing but thin your deck. This is 0 cost, draw 2 cards. But you only get to draw the 2 cards when your opponent plays an event.
Yeah, and the thing is, your opponent, like for instance, if I'm playing Tyrell, boosting everyone's strength, I'm not going to say, "Oh no, you're right. You know what? I'm not going to boost their strengths because I'm probably doing that for a good reason. This is worth more to me than you drawing 2 cards."
If they do choose to cancel the effect, then
good on you.
You've paid 0 and lost a card. They've paid at least 0 and lost a card. Yeah. So you're definitely up. If they cancel the effect, then you are 100% guaranteed to be ahead. If they don't cancel the event, then you've turned 1 card into 2 cards. But the problem is, until they play an event, it's a dead card.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
although pretty much every deck is running nightmares these days.
Yeah, it's like I think the people who are like treating it as complete garbage are wrong. At the same time, I think it's a player thing. Like some players are more happy to have cards sit in their hand for a while doing nothing,
right.
And then other players are. I think people are turned off by the fact that you don't get to choose what happens, and the fact that you don't get to choose when you play.
I will be honest, I'm generally not happy with something where I let my opponent choose what happens to me. Having said that, I can't imagine, as you said, if you look at it just as you draw 2 cards, because I can't
think of it like that.
There's not going to be many times they're going to take the other option.
Yeah, one of the options you're at least neutral on. One of the options you turn 1 card into 2 cards for free.
Yeah.
It's just the only problem is that until they give you the opportunity to, it's a dead card in your hand. So you need to play it in a deck where you have lots of draw and you're happy to sit on cards in your hand. But at the same time, if you're playing with lots of draw, I guess, then getting to draw more is less good. I don't know.
For someone like Stark, I guess, maybe, they might want to put it in because their draw is a bit more limited or a bit more combo-y.
Although Stark aren't lacking for event cancel, but then I guess that's the point, is that we're not thinking of this as event cancel, we're thinking of it as conditional draw.
Card draw.
I think it's another one that's great in Melee, just because there are 3 times as many opponents to play events.
And you can probably say, look, can you just play an event so I can play this? Just let me draw 2 cards.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in a meta that has lots of events, which I think we're kind of moving towards, then this gets pretty good.
Yeah.
It's going to fight for slots, as cards like this do.
As long as you're expecting your opponents to play events, then it's pure efficiency.
Just don't play if your opponent plays loot and you're going to lose 8 cards.
Got it.
Just because they're not going to choose the cancel and you're helping them.
Yeah.
Right, the Conclave. So,
does this become a Joker by default?
I think it does. I just want to set up with... I'm going to set up the thing here, because I've not played with this yet, and obviously, Mr. Wamma, you have. I don't think this is a very good agenda. Go. Or am I wrong?
I'm neutral on this agenda. Carry on.
Okay. So, first of all, I think it's important to look at what the agenda is giving you. Because the first thing with an agenda is obviously the opportunity cost of not running another agenda.
Yeah.
So, what this agenda is giving you is a bunch of cheap intrigue and power icons, first and foremost.
Yes.
Like, people look at the 7 cards going face down underneath the agenda, the reaction thing. That, for me, is...
That's extra.
That's extra. Mm-hmm. The most important thing, first and foremost, is that it gives you access to condition removal from any faction with Crescent. Yeah. It gives you access to Amon, who, yes, he can only save himself, but it's repeated claim soak.
Yeah.
Like, it's essentially lowering their military claim by 1 every round.
Mm-hmm.
It gives you access to like Kaliot and Wendermere and Pylos, who are all perfectly efficient bodies. And because of Here to Serve, you can, based on the matchup, get whichever one you want for any given circumstance. Additionally, because you've got those stealth maesters, you can, if you want, trigger, like pretty much reliably trigger this round 1, because you can search for stealth round 1.
Whatever. Yep.
So as far as I'm concerned, the 7 cards underneath it reaction thing is basically, it's going to semi-tutor one of the cards that you draw round 2.
Yeah.
Pretty much like 90+% of the time. And that is not bad. Like, it's not as consistently good as something like a fealty.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not as punchy as something like a Reigns. But it's an effect that is consistently going to be nice for you. It's going to help fill out your lower curve if you're playing one of the factions that doesn't have a great selection of intrigue bodies at the lower end. So Stark, Greyjoy, even potentially Night's Watch. Like, you've got the Chuds and Amon, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Baratheon doesn't have very good intrigue at the low end.
Yeah, they do.
Baratheon's got the Relore.
Fiery Followers and the Ashari.
Yeah, but they're 3 cost. I'm talking
what the Maesters are.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, for 2 costs, you only really get Maester of Sunspear and Citadel Novice.
Fair enough. Okay.
So it's not so much that it's doing anything groundbreaking. It's just filling out your curve, and you get a little bit of extra tutor. Yeah. And it also note that the reaction doesn't mirror your faction card. It's not limit once per round. Yeah. Yeah. So you can chain the triggers, which is very nice.
I've heard the argument with Stark. You take out Starks, then you run Gates of Winterfell, so you draw it immediately.
Yes. Getting to... Like, a thing I've done multiple times, because I've been playing a Stark Conclave, is you search out, like, Maester Wendermere or Maester Pylos with Here to Serve round 1. You can usually, round 1, win a power challenge on with the stealth.
Yep.
You get to stack your deck with Winter is Coming, immediately draw it with Gates of Winterfell, and then get a 2-claim military or intrigue through.
Okay.
And at that point, the agenda's basically already paid for itself in terms of the impact it's had on the board.
So the thing that got it for me is, obviously, I think I said this before, there's a similar ability in Netrunner. The thing I like about that more, though, is with that one, you draw 6 cards, you keep 4 to one side, you shuffle the other 2 back in the deck. Mm-hmm. So I just think if this was like search 7, keep 5, or search 10, keep 7, just so you had some control over it. I think I'd like it more. The other obviously thing in Netrunner, it's a lot easier to get those cards. It's a click, which that's an action.
Yeah.
So it's a lot easier to get access to those cards. I'm kind of glad because when Maesters won the vote, I was imagining we were going to get some sort of horrendous thing which would just make me cry, and this does seem pretty bad. I'm probably coming a bit too negative. I probably sound a bit more negative than I actually am on it at the start. I don't think it's a bad agenda. I'm just not 100%. I just think like the impact Reigns has at the moment, for instance, as an example, or something like that. Or Crossing.
The way I'd frame it, I guess, is that rather than comparing it to stuff like Reigns and Fealty and Crossing, it's better to compare it to the 8 banner agendas.
Right.
If you think of this as banner for Maesters,
fair enough.
The Maesters as a collective aren't as good as any of the factions. So that initial you may include non-loyal Maesters, you must include at least 12.
Yeah.
That's not as good as any of the banners, but then you also get this bonus little reaction, which is nice.
Okay.
Yeah. I was thinking this kind of like Kings of Summer. If you need that house card Neil, then you can consider the Conclave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I already put it above Brothers Without Banners, but that's because I really don't rate that one. But there you go. Yeah, I mean, it's a nice addition. I want to have a little play with it. The only thing that kind of annoys me a little bit is I'm someone who likes to go to games night with multiple decks built up. Having to take all these maces out of all the other factions, I think that's going to start impacting on that a bit.
To be fair, not many of those are you running more than one copy of.
Aemon, you probably are. I imagine. Are you running Aemon as free of in both?
Sure, yeah, you probably can't run a Night's Watch deck and a Conclave deck. Or maybe like a Stark deck with Lewin and healing expertise and that sort of thing. You definitely can't run that in a Conclave deck. But otherwise, you're probably fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I do like what your point about adding some low cost intrigue icons into say Stark. I think you definitely got something there. And
also with Valad Daharis coming out the next pack, Maces being quite cheap is probably going to be a beneficial thing.
Yeah, and also the pack after that we get Old Town. The guess what type of card the top card of your deck.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And then if you're right, you gain a power and draw it. That goes very well with this.
Yeah.
Really? You sure?
I think so.
Surely that's where everyone goes Banner Wolf, takes Gates of Winterfell, hoping they don't see a start card. Right, Wardens of the South. It's bonkers.
This thing's pretty freaking amazing.
It's bonkers. This could arguably be this. I should argue this could be the best Tyrell card in the pack.
Yeah,
I'm not as high on it as you, but go on. I'll let the positivity go first.
Well, okay. So the +2 strength for everything. So obviously it
for all your
Randall.
characters.
It stands Randall by default. You've got having +2 strength it being summer traded. That's quite good for say like a Knight of Summer, for instance. And he went to the other side. He's now strength 7 in the challenge. That's pretty good. I know there's an argument people saying you take this out, you take Song of Summer out for this. I actually disagree with that because Song of Summer is a flat +1 strength, and there are times that's more beneficial. Stuff like Crown of Gold, stuff like out of challenge burn effects or after challenge burn effects.
House Floor at Night.
House Floor at Night. Yep. But I think if you're running Tyrell and you're running an aggressive deck, there's not much good reason not to take this as a one-off.
Yeah, this thing's great. It's even got decent stats too.
Yeah. So why are you not such a big fan, Wamma?
Okay, I think everything you said is completely correct. I guess my position is that it's better than Song of Summer, but Song of Summer isn't like in every deck or anything.
No.
Like
okay.
It's a good card for Tyrell, and if you only have like 5 or 6 of your plots nailed down, then this is a very, very easy include as the last plot. And in a lot of decks, like if you are running like a low curve, or if you're running Randall and like 3 of the High Garden Courtiers or whatever, then probably it's worth an include just for having that one round where you can monster the opponents.
However, this and the Courtiers, my God, I hadn't thought about that somehow.
Right.
Declare Renly, trigger this, stand Renly. Like, it's very, very good. in those kinds of decks, and that is a large amount of Tyrell decks, and I'll fully accept that. At the same time, I think there are quite a lot of Tyrell decks where you already have, like 10 plots that you want to run.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
This is true. This is true.
11 plots that you want to run. Like, it's the law basically of the more amazing plots there are, the worse each of those plots become, because there's the opportunity cost of not getting to run other stuff.
No,
so, I don't know about you, Matt, and Ben for that matter, we're all Tyrell Reigns fanboys. I've been going back and forth, like prior to this box, on whether Song of Summer is in the cut for my list or not. Sometimes it is, and sometimes it isn't.
Funny enough, I was actually going to talk about that in Reigns. I've actually dropped Song of Summer from my Reigns deck because, generally speaking, I need the Reigns trigger. Quite often, you want to trigger first because it has such a big impact on the board. At which point you've lost the +1 strength anyway, so it hasn't been as worthwhile.
I see what you're saying.
Because you've got to flip out of it. In Crossing, Tyrell Crossing, I've still had one copy of Song of Summer in there.
And obviously you'd replace that with this.
Oh god, yeah.
Or you'd replace something else with this, but definitely this would go in that deck.
Yeah. The other one I'll say, if you're doing the Knights Jousting Alone deck, this just makes those 2 free-cost Knights even more bonkers.
Mm-hmm.
It
makes them 1 strength more bonkers.
Well, no, if you think of it, so you're doing you're doing Crossing, you send one of those little 2-cost 3 strength Knights in, he gets the -1. He's now strength 4, you've got the Lance on him, he's strength 5, he's got the 3 pavilions out, because you get them every time.
Yeah,
but again, at that point, do you need Wardens at the South?
Yes, to trigger the win by 5 ability for Honeywine.
Right, okay.
Which you've also set up, because you always get all the cards you need on turn 1.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I do think it's very good, but I don't think that it's auto-include in every Tyrell deck. Like, I put it on the same level as Wardens of the North, the Stark, which is one of those plots where it's clearly very, very good, but you don't always have room for those very good constructive plots. More often than not, you need a couple of plots for your economy. You need, your confiscation. You need your big effect plots like Valar Morghulis or March the Wall.
I get your point there, but I think you might pick one of the worst plots, because I think Wardens of the North goes in almost every Stark deck at the moment, just because of the ability to get Cat into any challenge. Yes. Or, as I quite often use it as my closer, just to get extra strength in. So I do get your saying, though, because that probably is the 7th plot in my deck, if that makes sense. Whereas, you were talking about the 8th plot, if I had one more plot going.
I think typically Wardens will either be the 7th plot or the 8th plot. I guess is the way
I could agree with that.
I'd probably link it more to the Wardens of the West, which in theory seems really good, but actually you only really see playing Reigns these days, because you kind of want to flip into it.
I see Wardens of the South as I see this as competing for slots with confiscation and political disaster.
But those do completely different things.
What's up?
Yeah, they do.
Confiscation. If you put confiscation in your plot deck, it's because you need confiscation in your plot deck. If you put political disaster in your plot deck, it's because it's going to have a huge impact when you flip it. Yeah, if you put this in your plot deck, it's because it's nice.
Yeah, that's the thing with this, is you got to start thinking about, do you really want that political disaster? Because what do you take out for Wardens of the South? Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So,
and when I say it's nice, I don't mean that in a disparaging way. It's very nice, but a lot of the time with plot decks, I like them to do serious impact rather than just be good.
Yeah.
Okay. Besieged.
Now I really like this plot, actually.
I wasn't sure about it to start with, but actually the more I've looked at it, the more I've quite like it. One of the things, it's fairly good initiative at 6.
Yeah.
Which it has to be, because you want to go first when you're playing this.
Yeah.
I've seen an argument that that playing this as your opener is not a bad idea when the boards are quite small.
I can see that, because then you can lead with your chump power challenge, force them to kneel something good.
So and just in general, I think other times I've been thinking about this is I've got Bob out, because quite often when I play against Bob, sometimes, especially if it's the first challenge, I go, I'm just not going to defend it, because I'm going to defend it with one guy or two guys. You're probably still going to win the challenge. You're then going to kneel someone out. So you know what? Just kneel whoever you want. Free challenge. Whereas now I can go, actually, now you've got to defend, and I'm going to kneel someone. Everyone wins.
Yeah, early in the game is when I've noticed that a lot of unopposed, challenges occur because that one extra power.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to give power to steal, and that one power doesn't mean very much on like turn 1. But with besiege, it's like, nope, can't do that. I'm gonna kneel your board out by attacking you. Yeah. I really like this. I really like this plot a lot. I think it also combos very well with the new Marjorie, because the new Marjorie the character she pulls in does not count as declaring a defender.
Yeah.
So
they're just now participating.
Yeah, that Marjorie is kneeling 2 characters now. That's great.
Yeah, and I completely agree about this as a first turn plot, because one of the annoying things about going first turn 1 is that the power challenge means nothing for you, but your opponent can let through a challenge unopposed, and suddenly it will mean something for them, because now they can get power back off you. Whereas now you get to kneel out 3 of their characters before they do anything, and then if they did happen to get out 4 or more characters, then you guaranteed don't have power for them to take back off you.
Yeah, I'm loving this in Baratheon simply because it kneels characters.
Yeah,
and
it's a kneel
that's
plot.
good. Yeah,
and I can see if you're playing core Stannis, you do the 2 challenges of 5 followers, and then you do the actual challenge, the power challenge you actually care about. You've nailed out 3 characters for basically nothing. 4 characters you've got Bob for nothing.
And it's also good in Targaryen for forcing participation for Drac. It's good in Greyjoy Longship, like the same stuff as the Marjorie from before.
Yeah.
Your king commands it. What's your things on this one?
I'm not sure what to think of this one.
So, can I say kind of one of the things I've been thinking about this one?
Mm-hmm.
So I've been thinking about Barrow a lot recently. So
Thank you.
And I think this has a place in Barrow, and I think it's probably about the only faction at the moment it probably has a place in. One of the few. I think it's the prime place for it.
Okay.
One of the things I'd be thinking about is using fortified positions more to slow the game down.
Okay.
Sometimes when I lose a Barrow, it's because I get rushed out.
Mm-hmm.
This basically is fortified positions, but doesn't turn off Bob.
Yeah, it's an anti-rush plot, which is, in the Targaryen box, that can be pretty useful.
And, you can stand Randall as much as you like. He's not getting any power. Unless he's got the crown, anyway.
This looks good in Night's Watch. Because,
the problem in Night's Watch is the low initiative.
True.
Yeah.
True. But it has 6 income to confiscate.
Whereas I guess with Barrow, you've got the option of, I've got Intimidate, so if you want me to go first, awesome. I'll intimidate some more characters out. If you want me to go second, that's fine as well. Yeah.
Look, Barrow gets that, that situation where it puts the opponent between a rock and a hard place with who's going first, who's going second. Night's Watch pretty much only wants to go second. But I think it's still a very annoying plot. Yeah. And I think it's a very, very good melee plot as well.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, melee. I think you'll see this. I think you see this a lot, especially running both the. Although I don't think you can see it as much anymore. You're running both the Baratheon Kings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm thinking of it in terms of turn 1, your king commands it, so that the characters don't gain power, and then turn 2, unexpected delay, so that they all can bounce.
Except if you do that, what's unexpected delay? Do you pick an opponent, or is it everyone does it?
Each player chooses a character without attachments or power.
You realise unless you put lots of attachments out, everyone's going to pick on you for doing that.
Not if you've only got trash characters out.
Yeah, exactly.
Just for spite, I think people would end up doing that to you. But no, I quite like this. I'm going to try in Baratheon, and I think it's got a place in the Fealty build for Baratheon. Definitely. I don't think it's in every card deck. I don't think Stark will be running it, for example, because that turns off fast steady.
Yeah, I think any deck that doesn't like getting rushed out, this seems like a contender.
Yeah. Maybe Martell could run it.
That's what I was thinking, because they don't really...
They like high initiative, though, because of their econ.
True. But
the Spider's Web.
Yeah.
Lannister loves this, I guess?
Yeah, this I was initially thinking about this going along with what I was saying earlier about a hand strip deck that has like hidden thorns.
Mm-hmm.
This kind of goes right turbo intrigue, try to strip the hand. Yeah, this seems like it goes in that. Yeah.
It goes in any it's a contender at least in any Reigns deck.
Yeah.
For very obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But I also think it's sneaky good in a crossing deck.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes, the extra intrigue. Yes, that's fair. Down to the military.
You go, like, one of the challenges turn 1. If you go intrigue as your second challenge with this, then you're setting then, like, either they're having to massively overcommit to defend and you're guaranteeing getting, like, your power challenge through for your win by 5 effects on the third one, or you're setting yourself up for 2 claim, or your character's +2 strength.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's good. It's very good.
Seems very Lannister, though. It seems very obvious. Good.
I can see Martell liking it as well, actually.
Okay.
I think. Probably.
And I think Tyrell, with like the Green Apple Knights from before that don't kneel.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And if you want to run like Crow Killers, it's got very low reserve as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Now it comes to war. When claim is applied for intrigue or power challenge, as the attacking player may choose military instead.
Ooh, only 3 income. So you're just trying to wipe your opponent's board.
3-3-1. So I was trying to think what factions want to play this, and I kind of came to
Lannister.
Maybe Lannister. Tyrell. Well, Lannister, I don't think they do, because if you're going to do for this style deck, you've got Trial by Combat, which is just better. Especially with Tyrion. Targaryen, just play Retaliation.
I'd say Targaryen, because you're just trying to wipe your opponent's board, though.
You just play Retaliation at that point.
Oh yeah, that's true. You got Retaliation. Yeah, that's true.
If you've got Khal Drogo out, Retaliation's better.
Mm-hmm.
I'm struggling, and I'm generally happy. This is one of the things when Lanny Dragon was everywhere. Sometimes I was happy that Miri was killing my characters on power challenges.
Yeah.
Because they weren't claiming power. The military... Sorry,
no, you go.
I was just going to say, military, after the initial start to the game or after a reset, is the only time military really matters. After that, intrigue and power are by far better challenges. Power is, after a couple of turns, power is probably the most powerful, is probably the most important challenge. So why would I want to swap out the most important one to get some more military claim? It just seems too situational to have it in your plot deck. If it was a scheme and it was a range trigger, then maybe.
Okay.
But then you've already got that. You got Court Sorted. You got the Red Wedding.
Yeah, I think I was trying to think of the most useful, like the time when it's going to be the best. And from what I can tell, it's to bait a bad player to do military claim against you instead of power claim.
Yeah.
Although I'm going to be annoying.
This may be hilarious in Melee.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
It's what I like to call now it comes to Whispers, where you get Master of Whispers and get to apply military claim to everybody. And then they all punch you in the face. But that's not the point. I do like that you don't have to be involved in the challenge for the forced interrupt to happen.
Yeah. It's just... I don't know. I guess the other one could be if you're running Tyrell and you've got Relentless Assault and you've got the informant come in and you can do 5 challenges. Mm. Then this can be quite useful because then you can put a lot of pressure on the board. But as a general rule,
then they value you.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you want to wipe the board, just play Valor.
Given how terrible the stats are. It is the worst challenge type to be able to change the claim to. Like, if it was intrigue or power, then there would be value in this.
Yeah. So that's pretty dreadful. So one of the cards I want to talk about a bit, but we've gone on a bit long now, so I'm not sure we'll go into it as much. Trade routes, probably. Trade routes. So on the whole, 2-2-1 seems a bit crap. Gain 1 gold for each location you or your opponent control. Obviously, choose an opponent you control. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering. So you've got this kind of like you've got your big money plot cycle. So trading, great. Yeah. Gives your opponent gold though. Meh. Long Summer Feast, great. Gives your opponent card draw. Conditional card draw, but meh. Summer Harvest, great. Got a few counters. Get the wrong plot. Bad plot. Mm-hmm. This one. Great, unless your opponent doesn't have any locations, or you don't have any locations. So you can't replay it for the first couple of turns, but probably like turn 3 onwards.
Yeah, I'm thinking of this as actually your recovery plot after Valor.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like you need to be running not too many locations really. Like
Yeah.
if you're running a deck that can reliably have 3 locations out, you're assuming your opponent's probably going to have at least 3 locations out. At that point, it's an 8 gold plot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At which point it seems pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah.
As just a pure econ plot, just looking at it in just the econ plots. I'm wondering this becomes a bit of a meta call. So you kind of talked about the other ones. So.
Yeah.
So, for instance, obviously, I imagine in Reigns, I'd probably still look at Late Summer Feast because the ability to probably slip out of it.
I will never look at Late Summer Feast.
Yeah.
I know you won't.
Yeah.
Even George has come around to Late Summer Feast now, though. But we are in a location-heavy meta. So the odds are, by turn 2 or 3, there should be 5 minimum locations on the board. You'd hope. You think.
So I think the trick here is you're saying there's 5 or 6 locations on the board. So you want to be in a situation where you really want a ton of gold. And I'm thinking that in the location heavy meta, there's a lot of Valor Magulas running around. Yeah. So what you do is you use this, you try to predict their Valor, and you play this, and then you immediately roll in with like 10 gold worth of characters. Against Greyjoy Reigns of Castamere, they're really big for valoring you and then flipping out of it. Well, they also have Iron Mines and Ironfleet Scouts and Sea Bitches. I mean, wouldn't it be nice to just drop this, get like 8 gold, and then immediately recover?
So that is the one thing I would say that worries me about this at the moment is Political Disaster, and I'm hoping it was a design choice to make this one less initiative than Political Disaster.
But even if Political Disaster goes off first, then you're still getting 6 gold, which is pretty good.
It's not bad.
Still getting 4 gold. Oh, I see. You're including the 2 on the bottom, right?
including the 2 on the.
And it's Summer traded, which is good. It's Kingdom traded, which is bad in some situations. Although obviously not probably anyone ever takes naval anymore.
And if they naval this, then it only drops it down by 2, not by what you're getting from them.
You're not that annoyed, I guess. So I'm going to try this out as my money plot for a little bit in non-range deck. So I'm still going to run Late Summer Feast.
Okay, so not an opener, but a turn 3 or 4.
It depends.
Big money.
If you get that Greyjoy player who sets up all the 0 cost locations on turn 1. Maybe.
Oh yeah, you have that option there. But I think as the Valor recovery, I think this is where it's at.
Yeah, I think most decks typically run 2 econ plots, and this will be the econ plot that you don't play around 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless there's been something. Yeah, unless there's something crazy's happened on the other side of the board, like that. Was it that Tyrell Kraken Knights build of all the raiding longships for some reason? Not raiding longships, scout ships.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last one is Nothing Burns Like the Cold.
So guys, I hate to say this, it's the last card, but I want to cash in a Joker on this one.
Yeah, no,
I think this one is worth talking about.
So because there's a couple of things I've heard about this card, as in what people are saying about it, and I disagree with some of it. But go first, Matt.
Oh, I want to know what people are saying about it.
Yeah, what's going on?
Well, the big one everyone I keep hearing saying is, "Oh, you run this instead of confiscation," and I'm going to say, "No, you bloody well don't." But this is not a confiscation replacement because the key with it, each player chooses an attachment that he or she controls, which is why you can't use it to replace confiscation unless you hit it when there's one attachment on the board. Mm-hmm. So if you're playing against Night's Watch and they've craven 2 of your characters and milked another one, they're just going to use the one which is they don't care as much about.
This is true. However, confiscation can't hit the wall.
No, and that's where the thing. But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's not a confiscation replacement card.
Yeah, I see this as
it's got other uses.
Yeah, I see this as actually more of a first of all, it's winter, so if you're Stark, that's great. I see this actually as a way to go after non-limited locations.
Yeah. No, I see as well. If your opponent sets up the wall,
boom.
Yeah. Goodbye, my friend.
Yeah. So, like against Targaryen, they don't run any attachments except for their one event masquerading as an attachment. So
they have Crown of Gold, but generally
that's
speaking,
what I'm saying. It's their event. That's.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if they play that, the character's probably dead.
Exactly. So confiscation is like a liability at that point because you might hurt your own attachments. But this, you might hit their flea bottom or their Plaza of Pride, and then that's good. Yeah. So I think if you're a deck that doesn't play a lot of attachments and doesn't play a lot of non-limited locations, if any, I think this card is actually pretty good because it gives you a way to push back against, it gives you a way to push back against decks that are just going to throw down non-limiteds and throw down their flea bottoms and expect their flea bottoms to be invincible without having to play Stark or Pyromancers or Banner of the Kraken or anything.
Yeah.
Although I do think this is also very good in Greyjoy.
Yeah, because you have a lot of extra non-limited locations. And
if you're running like Euron or Dagmar, then you can take trash non-limiteds from your opponent and then attack them. Or, as you say, you can just get rid of, oh no, I have to lose one of my 3 Iron Fleet scouts.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, damn.
Or, oh no, I have to lose my Sea Bitch and I've got another one in hand to replace it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And again, if you're playing it, you're going to play around it. You know it's coming. Like we talked about Political Disaster in the Tyrell Reigns cast episode. If you're playing it, you'll set up and go, cool. You might even go, I will milk this random character just to keep the milk I actually want to keep in play as the other attachment there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's ways around it. You just got to play sensibly, think about it. But it just means now Night's Watch players, for a while at least, can't really risk setting up the rule on setup.
Yeah. So
not unless they've got something else to save it with anyway.
So I think a type of deck where this really goes well in is a deck that eschews non-limited locations and eschews attachments in favor of more events. If you're running like 34 characters and like 12 events and then some your limited locations and a very slim attachment and non-limited location package, then I think this gets really good.
Obviously, the big one.
Also, Initiative 7.
Yeah, Initiative 7 is really good. The other thing I like about it is obviously it can't be saved. So they do dupe the wall and setup, you're laughing even more.
Don't work.
Yeah, don't care.
Yeah. Would this be worth running alongside Political Disaster?
My gut is no.
All I know is my gut says maybe.
Yeah. I think it depends on the fact. If you're playing Greyjoy, probably not. So obviously you don't want to play Political Disaster. This does give Greyjoy access to something like Political Disaster, which is quite nice. Mm-hmm. There's no way they want to run that plot. My gut is no, because I think you're then putting too many plots into the same similar area.
Well, one of the problems I think with Political Disaster is what it doesn't do is it does not get the wall off the board. It sheds Night's Watch's economy, and it'll shed their.
So you're thinking you do this, then you do Political Disaster, then you do this.
Then you do this, and then you're really pushing against Night's Watch.
My problem is at that point you're dedicating 2 of your 7 plots.
This is true.
To 4 gold plots that are only really good together against one faction.
This is true. But anything to deal with Martell Stag. I don't know. I've had a lot of horrible experiences against decks that have like 15 non-limiteds on the board. And I'm sitting here going, "Oh my god."
The problem is those types of decks quite often, in my experience, run tourney grounds, and at that point they're just losing an econ location and nothing more.
Yeah, that is true. It doesn't work so well against decks that are running lots and lots of non-limiteds, but I don't know. I actually kind of like this thing.
It's the ones like the Targ ones that are running Plaza, Flea Bottom, Astapor, and limiteds.
Yeah, like that, or
or Knights with the Red Keep and the Iron Throne and the Chamber.
Yeah, or Knights, or a type of character heavy Night's Watch that just does like the Wall and Haunted Forests, like not a lot of non-limiteds. I just like how this is if you build your deck right, there's very little downside. Whereas Confiscation, like it could often be dead, or it could have a downside in that it hits only your own attachments. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also really satisfying, as I experienced earlier today, to flip this when Greyjoy is flipping Valor and you get their Iron Mines. They never see that coming.
Yeah. No, it's yeah. I mean, it's definitely an interesting card. It's definitely a card which is going to change the way you play for a while. And I think that was Stark in particular going winter soon, and obviously Stark got the North Remembers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which gets rid of a location. But if you
the character or location. Yeah.
Character or location. So you could start leveraging that, especially outpost Valor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this. I would like this in Stark if Winterfell wasn't so good, because Stark doesn't want to run a whole lot of non-limiteds, and I think this plot hurts is when it's flipped with a deck that runs like a few non-limiteds that are important.
Same as Stark is potentially one of the few factions that probably doesn't want to run this as well because they've got access to Frozen Solid.
Yeah, that's true. They don't necessarily need it.
And I know you're saying Frozen Solid can't hit the wall, but fine. But if you shut down their other smaller or their other smaller Elon locations, it makes getting down the wall, for instance, a lot easier.
Yeah, like it can deal with the Haunted Forest.
And if you put Frozen Solid on something, that's what they're going to get rid of.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, this is true.
Although if you do that, you just make them go first, and then you get rid of the Frozen Solid for your attachment discard.
No, I do get that. I do get that. But
I agree. It's not great out of Stark. I think it's best in decks that are either only running limiteds or are running lots of non-limiteds.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think its main role in the meta will probably in practice be to just snipe Flea Bottom, because that's in such a large percentage of decks.
Snipe Flea Bottom, or just say stop the Night's Watch player from being able to hit the wall on turn 1.
Yeah, and not just Night's Watch wall, it stops like Lanny from doing Harrenhal, it stops Tyrell from doing High Tower.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it means if you see this on setup, you've got to think about it. And even if you wait a turn and the only thing you can put down is some more limiteds and the wall, you're probably still not safe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, it's the thing I've liked about the plots in this pack is they're all being, bar the Tyrell one, they're all kind of interesting, and they all
I'd say Now It Comes to War isn't.
Yeah, that one's.
Oh, maybe not interesting. Sorry, maybe not that one. But they're all interesting takes on things. So,
if you compare it to the Night's Watch plots, like without looking it up, I challenge you to name, say, 5 of the 7 plots in the Night's Watch box.
The Fire That Burns.
Yep.
Because I use that a lot.
Yeah.
Nope, don't remember.
1 second, I'm totally not cheating.
You've got Summon to Court, Called to Service, The White Shadows.
Oh, Name Day! How did I forget Name Day Tournament?
Name Day Tourney. Yeah.
I love that one.
But we're still didn't hit 5.
You get my point. They're not memorable because they're not good. I think Nothing Burns Like the Cold, Trade Routes, Besieged, and the Spider's Web will all see a lot of play, and I think Your King Commands It will see niche amounts of play. Yeah. And obviously the Wardens will always be for Tyrell decks. These plots all matter.
And I remember talking about the Night's Watch when I remember watching the Frozen Expanse, thinking you'd see that in Baratheon, even they don't care about it. And
it's because your fiery followers don't stand.
Yeah, they do.
That's what's.
Oh, can't stand. Oh, yeah, can't stand. Yeah, can't stand. So, yeah, it's just.
Yeah, and even the scheme in the Night's Watch box doesn't go in Rain's decks.
I don't even remember what that was.
Whisper Campaign.
Oh
yes, because it doesn't work in it, does it? Which is actually a great plot. I've seen people.
Oh, I like Whisper Campaign, but I mean usually the schemes are for Rain's decks, and that one is definitely not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the end of that review. Do we want to touch on Worlds quickly as our prediction?
Yeah, let's do it.
I think 2 minutes each, maybe.
Oh yeah.
So it's been a while. It's been a long time.
The rapid fire review was an extended siege.
It's better than we normally do. It normally takes us 2 hours to do a chapter pack.
Yeah. Quick fire 3-hour review is a thing.
We'll do better next time.
Yeah, right. So
I'll just stop talking about Silver Terran. That'll shave a half an hour.
The problem was that we got 3 Tyrell fanboys to do a Tyrell box.
Hmm? So it is the comprehensive rapid fire review.
Yes. In all fairness, by our normal tangent standard, this was rapid fire.
This is true.
Everything's relative. Right.
What I'm saying is, for the next Tyrell box, you should get Richard Walker to come on and do it.
Well, yeah, they're cards, aren't they?
Oh, hate Tyrell. It does something good and constructive. That's no fun.
I will be on it. He has changed where I look at Reigns now, because it's Standy plot, Copley plot, and Neil plot. So Worlds, this pack is not in it, so it's just up to patch 6.
People going to Worlds, disregard the last 3 hours of content.
Yep.
So obviously, you have
Start listening now.
So Tyrell probably won't be the most popular faction because they're not the most new. They haven't got the new shiny toys yet. So are you thinking it's still going to be Greyjoy up there?
From what I know of the American versus the European meta, Greyjoy, Reigns of Castamere hasn't caught on nearly as much as it has in Europe.
It won Canadian Nationals.
It did, but if you look at the field, there weren't that many Greyjoy, Reigns of Castamere decks. Whereas at say Varberg Margulis, it was quite well represented. I think in America, it's my understanding that the meta leans more towards like Martell Wolf, Martell Stag, Night's Watch Wolf, more attrition decks.
A lot more Lannister.
Yeah, and they always have a lot more Lannister. That's a given. Yeah. But anything like a more attrition decks that have like 2 March and a Valor, maybe some Varys, that type of thing.
Going back to first edition, America plays more Lannister and Martell. Europe plays more Stark and Greyjoy. I don't know why that's the case, but it has been for many years now.
Although no one plays much Stark as the Australians.
Yes, okay,
that is true.
I see. Conservative. Okay. Anyways. But I'm thinking. But I think Greyjoy Reigns of Castamere is still like the best deck right now. I think that deck is really good, and I think. But I also think Martell Wolf is really strong. But this Night's Watch Wolf that these Americans have been working on, I'm really curious to see how well it'll do in the end.
Yeah, I think if Europe, if enough Europeans show up, or if Americans learn how to play Greyjoy Reigns, then Greyjoy Reigns is the favourite deck for the field.
I'd say so.
I think failing that, either a Lanny deck of some sort, or I do think that Night's Watch Wolf style attrition, I'm going to run Mutiny and Harrenhal and the Recruiter and Yoren and all this stuff. I think that deck will be nasty.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
I just from a pure selfish point of view, I don't want Lannister to win, and I don't really want Stark to win because of the World's pack. I want to get more cards. If Greyjoy win, I'm going to buy as many Greyjoy packs as I need to get a full play set of Dagmars.
But what if Dagmar isn't in the winning Greyjoy deck and you have to buy Infinity?
Then you better hope that Fantasy Flight introduces some sort of chase card program where every pack you get, there might get a Dagmar.
So at that point, I'd assume it's not a proper Greyjoy deck. It's like the Stark Watch deck. It's not a Stark deck.
Mm-hmm.
Any Greyjoy deck doesn't have Dagmar and is not actually a Greyjoy deck. It's a false banner.
Yeah. So this being said, is there room for is there an outside chance that a rush deck will take it? Or do you really
I don't think so at the moment, because I want to say there's too much Night's Watch.
When I said a Lanny deck, I wasn't necessarily thinking of Reigns. I was thinking more of Crossing.
Okay.
Is this the I have no characters on the board?
Not so much no characters, but I think that Lanny Crossing Rush is a thing.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't want Lanny to win. They won last year. I want your cards.
Yeah.
However, at the very least, you'll get 3 full bleed Cerseys.
Yeah, if Lannister wins again, I think the chances of us getting our restricted list goes up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but only if it's got Flea Boss in it. Sorry, what am I on about? Right, the final's going to be Greyjoy Reigns versus Targaryen Reigns, and Targaryen Reigns is going to take it down and become a thing.
If by Targaryen Reigns you mean Martell Wolf, then I'd agree with you.
They didn't access this pack. That card doesn't put them over the top. Damn it.
So there you have it. World's prediction. We are
I think that was as comprehensive. Yep. A unanimous vote for Lanny, Greyjoy, Martell, or Night's Watch.
And that one Baratheon guy who always makes the cut, except this time it's going to be Baratheon, False Banner, Night's Watch that makes the cut.
So,
yeah. We basically said probably not Barra, Stark, or Tyrell.
Basically.
Probably not.
Tyrell's a good chance.
Tyrell might, but I think it's in 6th place.
So this is one of the few times I'd say, just before we end off, so there's normally that kind of big debate of Worlds and Starluck, and Worlds is the build up to Starluck, blah blah blah. Normally I don't care about that. They're both two separate entities as far as I'm concerned. But because of the Tyrell box, I'm far more interested in Starluck this year than Worlds. Worlds is just like a meh. Because last year the Lanny box I think hit just after Worlds or when Worlds was actually going on.
Yeah, it was right around that weekend.
So we didn't have time to kind of sit there and look for the cards. Now I'm just like, yeah.
Now you're hyped for a meta that is after Worlds.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Well, I think that stems from the fact that Pack 6 was so boring.
I think partially last year as well, it was the Lanny box. It gave us Reigns of Castamere, but otherwise it was a bunch of cards for the faction that was already good and didn't necessarily go in that faction's existing decks.
Yeah.
Okay.
This Tyrell box has a lot of good stuff, and for a lot of factions as well.
Mm.
Except for Barracks, they're not allowed good cards.
No, Barra's got Besiege.
What are you talking about? Baratheon got Marjorie Tyrell.
The new
Baratheon got Marjorie.
The non-Baratheon cards. I can't remember which podcast it was in, but they said the battery review the Barra cards. Are they from the core set? No, they're not good then.
No, they're not. But Marjorie Tyrell, however, she's a Baratheon.
The yellow cards aren't good, but the Baratheon cards are good.
This is like what's it? The Sansa's Maiden, which was the second best Tyrell card of the pack.
Yeah.
See, I'd say that was like the 4th best Tyrell card of that pack.
Ooh, I love that. I love. Hey, when that deck works, and you have a strength 11 Brienne.
Then you're 4 away from getting strength.
We don't run that Brienne. She sucks.
So that was quite comprehensive. So, looking forward to Worlds and Starluck.
When is the final? So when is the cut and for Thrones at Worlds?
I think it's Saturday. I think it's Wednesday and Thursday are the Swiss. Oh no, Wednesday and Thursday are the Swiss, and Friday is the cut.
Okay.
Because it's all over before the weekend starts.
Oh, that's cool. I'm working the weekend, so who's up for streaming on Friday night? Actual good commentary.
Yeah, let's do it. Just give me some bunch of liquor, and I'll be I'll just be a continuous commentator.
I have got to work at 7 a.m. on Saturday, so it could preferably finish before midnight. That would be fun. Good.
Good luck with
that.
Yeah, unlikely, but possible.
Oh, well, I can drink lots of Red Bull and get through work. It's fine. But so that's potential getting some alternative commentary because bless them, bless their little cotton socks. But anyway, Matt, as is your first official podcast as a member, do you want to see us out?
Yes, as always, you can get in contact with us through.
Matt, you got to say thank you to James first.
I'm getting there.
No, you say that first.
Oh, okay. Well, first, thank you to our guest host, James Wamma Walmsley, providing his unparalleled Tyrell commentary, as he always does, and his view into this, to the secret world of a player of Conclave. Thank you very much, James. It's always great to talk to you.
And thank you for being our Kurt Angle to Joe being our Roman Reigns.
Yeah. And
I love references.
So as usual, you can get in contact with us by YouTube, by Facebook. You can just watch our podcast. You can listen to our podcast. You can do all sorts of things with our podcast. And as always, it's been emotional.